Hey, we are here with some more Gamebound, playing another session of Blades in the Dark, and we're gonna do a little bit of a recap here because,
Been a
some
while.
people, been a while. Some people may not remember what was going on, and um, so last time on Blades in the Dark, the cracked lanterns, I think, the cracked lanterns is what you guys are called.
Yep.
You guys were doing a favor for the your contact in the Wolverines. The Wolverines being kind of a group of people who protect the railroad from bandits and things. And this is a corrupt guy who's helping you steal from the railroad, but that's neither here nor there. And you guys had basically been without a base. A bunch of bad things had happened, and you needed a base, and you needed some more security because your last base got destroyed and whatnot. And your contact, Hawksley in the Wolverines, agreed to set you up in another secret underground railroad base as long as you did a job for him. And the job being getting his rival in the Wolverines fired or otherwise out of the picture so that he could take over his job. And it ended up happening that your attempts to do it non-violently failed. Well, I say non-violently. There was still a murder being planned, but it wasn't the murder of that guy. It was a murder of a different guy. And it ended up
Honestly,
being,
would have been preferred.
Yes. It ended up being Seth leading him as a drunk back to his hotel and giving him some drugs and then murdering him in his sleep. So, that's where we're at in Gamebound.
I still just feel like it didn't even really happen. This is a make-believe game, yet I feel awful because we killed this person who was a good person, the only good person we've met in this entire game.
True.
And we murked him.
Yep.
I feel like Seth's equivalent of feeling things in this game is my equivalent whenever something crazy happens, romance wise. And I'm just yep. I got broken up with,
I mean, I know how what your buttons are. I know what all of your buttons are, guys. Oh my goodness, how can I say that sentence? I know what your buttons
to
are.
make us feel
buttons.
Right? Alyssa and Emily just hit him with some romance. Seth, definitely some guilt needs to be heaped on.
That's
moral
what I want.
Dilemmas. I'm trying to think if Jordan's I feel like Jordan is the same. If I throw romance at him, he just kind of is I don't want to even engage with any of this. I don't know, Jordan. What is your thing? What do I get you with?
Or the thing that I like.
Oh, I think I might know what it is. I think for you, it's sacrifice, right? You between a rock and a hard place, having to do something to sacrifice your character to help your friends, right? It's friendship for Jordan.
Yeah, if you basically any one of my characters, if you want them gone, all you have to do is make it give me the option to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
The sacrifice ultimatum.
Yep.
And my character's dead.
The sacrifice ultimatum is a fun trope to pull out, and we've done it many times.
We have. I figure eventually we'll have done it so many times that it's just outdone, it's just overdone, and then my character will be safe.
No.
Give it more campaigns.
That's not how this works.
Sure.
Five campaigns. 5.
Yeah.
15 years from now.
You think we're gonna be done with season 2 by session 2 by then?
So,
look, season 3.
You mean campaign 2?
Yeah, campaign 2. That's what I meant.
Yeah. That was session 2 is just gonna take one day, no matter when it ends up happening. Cool. So, the last thing we left off on was Jordan's character deciding. So, the whole thing that was happening as a subplot last time was good old Gideon Taggert, Jordan's character's arch nemesis, was investigating you guys and trying to bring you guys to justice for all the things you've done. And Jordan's character Lionel Crusoe, decided, you know what our next job is? Assassinate that guy. He can't find out because he is pretty close to finding out what's going on with you guys and sending some armed cops to your door. So
we have a lot of heat in this game, don't we?
You currently have wanted level, I think, of 2. Let's check.
Yeah.
Yep, wanted level 2. Which means, yeah, like they're sending a significant amount of people to track you down if they can.
We have a base now, right?
You do have a base. Yep, and it's as same as the old base, basically in terms of features.
So the title of this length of episode, Back to Basics.
Back to Basics. I love it. Cool.
Call me basic.
I spell it with an E, and yeah, that's there's the pun.
I may be calling, but you answered.
Nice.
So I believe we did downtime last time to end us off.
Did.
Yeah, that sounds correct.
We have stuff marked off.
Alyssa couldn't do it because she got taken out, and you skip downtime. You don't have to indulge your vice, but you skip downtime, come back with no stress. And so she showed up at the end of this downtime session, or at the end of that downtime phase, and then we kind of bring it back up to free play, and everybody's back in the action. Though Paloma has plenty of wounds that she'll have to deal with.
But luckily I took the tough as nails thing this time, and so now everything is less effect.
Yep. I forgot about that. That's nice.
Yep.
Very good.
Unless I get shot some more.
Which is certainly a possibility. You are trying to assassinate someone.
Yeah.
I'll
just do it from a distance. I'm good at that. If I do things from a distance, I'm great.
That is true. The times you've gotten hurt were the times you got up and close.
Exactly. So I think lesson learned. We just need to put me far, far away.
Well, so this is the thing, right? Seth and Jordan have been up close every other time too, and they have had horrible things happen to them.
They get along fine.
I agree that Paloma is best when she's at a distance, but I don't think the other two are best at. No one's good at close range fighting in this party.
No,
I'm not. Clanch is not a fighter. He's a talker.
That's true.
Yeah, he needs to be up close. Like, see, he's fine.
Well, yes. Basically, what I'm saying is, if Emily was going to join us for this, she would need to be some person who like punches or stabs people in close range to fill out the.
To be fair, though, I have actually killed 2 people.
It's true. No, with light, you are actually pretty good at it.
Because I just give people bad light and they. Isn't that how I off the guy? I gave him some bad light, made it look like it was a suicide.
Something like that. Yeah, something along those lines. So I'm thinking for
things.
Yeah, exactly. Only happy things here on Blades in the Dark. So keep in mind there are alternate ways to play this game. You can be cops or like other more nice.
Yeah.
You guys chose. Okay, let me put it this way. You guys chose to be drug dealers.
We didn't
right
realize
off the bat.
We didn't realize what we were getting into. Apparently,
no.
We didn't think murder was going to be involved.
Oh no, definitely no murder happens in drug dealing.
I came in as a guy wearing a suit made of newspaper. I was not expecting something so serious.
I wanted to be like John Mulaney's drug dealer, where he's actually a painter, and he was just like, I was just like trying to get you away from all the bad drugs.
And to be honest,
I just wanted to cut people.
And to be honest, that could have been the way that this campaign went, but you failed every roll. 3 sessions in a row. So I don't know what to tell you.
And we finally roll well. It's to take out the one decent person in this freaking world.
I just really want to get rid of that wanted level so that way we can go back to being decent human beings who just want to sell drugs.
I'm sure that's exactly how this will end up,
Exactly, right?
Given our luck, of course that's how it's going to go.
Yeah. So I'm thinking for this job, I don't even think.
Now tell me, why did our wanted level go up? Because I thought the whole thing was that we were like, or I guess no, it's because we couldn't frame somebody, right? We got his job done, but we didn't get what we wanted.
Yeah, exactly. You planned on framing him for stuff. You still have a possibility of doing that. It's just a separate job at this point. Like you could still technically get what's his face, the merchant that you were trying to murder originally in the job last time. You could pin him for some of your crimes, but that hasn't happened yet, and that would be like a separate thing. So, but I think if your plan today is to assassinate Gideon Taggert, right, is to get this cop off your tail, I don't think we need to do any free play phase. I think it's just straight to the job, and we can do flashbacks if as necessary because you already know the mission and you already know the target, right? I think we just jump right into it.
The question.
I mean, he's a cop, right? Eventually, he's at the very least going to be at the police station or whatever equivalent is here. But you can make rolls to find out like places where he might be vulnerable. But I think this is all going to be part of the job because, flashbacks are a thing. I don't know if there needs to be anything preliminary, really.
Okay.
So, right, your plan is assault, right? Do violence to a target. The detail you need is the point of attack. So I believe point of attack is. Oh, does point of attack mean like where you're gonna do it?
Exactly where. Between his eyes.
I'm trying to figure out what this means. Because let's see. Because like stealth, for example, has the point of infiltration as the stealth, and I'm trying to decide like, does the point of whatever mean the target, or does it mean the location? What is the word point? I guess point means location, right? That's what the word
I would think
means.
it means location. That's
Yeah.
Because like we don't want to just like shoot him in the middle of a police station because then we're gonna have other policemen on us.
So there
right?
will be then
there needs to be
preliminary.
Like,
there needs to be a preliminary roll here to decide what that is, right? To find a point of attack to even begin this, because you could show up guns a-blazing in the police station, but that's going to get you all killed. And
or just a higher wanted level. It's not going to accomplish what we want, which is this guy off our tails.
Yes.
What's your idea, Jordan?
Well, I'm hesitant to suggest it because every time we've taken my ideas, I'm pretty sure they've failed miserably.
Hey, but by law of probability, maybe this one will finally work.
Fifth time's a
when
charm.
has law of probability ever worked for us?
You know what? When has probability done anything for us at this point, Jordan? The die are against us. The die has been cast.
So my idea is he's desperate to find info on us, right? And to figure out that last little piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So if we set up a place where he thinks he's getting that and then ambush
him a fake tip.
Kind of what I was thinking too. Is like
a fake tip, or just like leave something out of or like do some sort of small job where it seems like we got sloppy with it and then he's able to be right on our tail and then we lead him into a trap sort of thing.
My idea was actually similar where essentially saying like send him a note saying I'm feeling racked with guilt over everything. Like essentially I'm going to turn myself, send him an anonymous note saying I'm going to turn myself in, and then from that kind of take him out.
Yeah, I just worry that like giving him like a we're gonna turn ourselves in, he's gonna bring like other cops with him.
That is the problem,
to do that. But like if it's possibly just a tip, he might just go take look at it himself, right?
Or
like
with a partner.
Right, exactly. Might be more safe.
What?
He lost 2 of his fingers, didn't he?
He did. Yep.
What if we found them?
Don't send him back one of his fingers. That's terrible.
Wait, didn't you take his fingers?
One thing to keep in mind here also about all this, right, is I think he did take his fingers. Is just killing Gideon might not accomplish what you want if you because you're still gonna have a wanted level, and if you do it badly or in a wrong way, another person could just take his place, right? If they find out. If it's obvious that you killed him or that someone he was investigating killed him, then someone might just fill his shoes and keep doing what he was doing. The key here, right, is to kill him in such a way that the investigation won't continue. Whether or not you can get your wanted level away, that might be a separate thing entirely. But
so do it in a way that doesn't lead back to us.
Doesn't lead back to you guys and won't heighten anything in such a way that like more
right. Because if we send something about a tip about us, then they're just gonna know right away. Because he's probably gonna say, "Oh, hey, I got this tip. I'm gonna go."
So we don't send him. What you're saying is we don't send him his.
So we need to send him a bottle of wine that's poisoned.
I suppose
what you're saying is we don't send him his fingers wrapped up in today's newspaper with a text, "Come and get me."
No, probably not.
No, not our call.
What if we send him a tip about a different crime group that we know something about?
Yeah.
Could we essentially try and get information about a different group's next heist, and then from there try and get him to go that direction?
Oh, what if we get information about another heist, send him there, and let them kill him for us?
Oh, I like that too. Then we don't even have to have blood on our hands.
We don't have to get blood on our hands. We just have to figure out what other drug lords are doing, send him there, let them kill him off for us.
What a wholesome stream this is.
You're the one who wanted to play this game, Caleb.
No, I actually really enjoy this game. I'm just very
and it could
enjoying...
also accomplish the idea, even if he succeeds, right? If he doesn't die, then maybe we just help take down one of the lesser, people.
Well, here's the thing. Even if we send him after them, we could still interfere and make sure he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
That way, he doesn't. Even if he dies by our hands, it doesn't look like it because he was going after someone else.
Yeah, that's the best way. The best way to do it is not to just send him off somewhere and cross your fingers and hope that they kill him. It's to ensure that it happens, but keep yourselves, keep your fingerprints off of it. So did you have a particular idea of what kind of another drug group that you wanted?
Yeah,
guys, I figured it out. I like it. It's sneaky, and it just might work. We could use him as a footstool or a table to play Scrabble on, then tie him up and beat him up and throw him out of Babylon.
Jordan, your audio cut out, but I get where you were going with that.
Yeah.
I just realized that we are those three.
Let's look at the list of.
Wait. Oh no, not
factions.
again.
So
you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear anything again. Give me a second. I'm going to reset my audio interface.
Very fun.
So let's look
Guys, let's talk about how awesome Seth is behind his back.
Oh, I know. He's the worst, isn't he?
How awesome he is.
I know.
Could we send them after the vengeance?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're former law who have turned to crime. There's certainly a reason that Gideon, any of the cops would be against them.
Any cops would.
Right. I think...
And they're currently kind of against us, so...
There would probably be a role of some sort, right, to figure out who Gideon would actually go after, right? Because if you send the wrong tip, he might send someone else to check it out, right? If it's not his expertise or if he's on a different job, right? It has to be something that Gideon Taggert. So I feel like there needs to be a preliminary role here to research the man himself, to decipher what would be a tip he would go to likely alone, right? Or something along those lines, right?
Or maybe just with one person.
Right? Where's a point of vulnerability here?
What if?
Besides you guys, who else is he obsessed with, right?
So would that be a survey role or a study role?
I think study probably, right? Because it would be... Well, I guess it could be survey if you're stealthing and watching him from a distance over the course of several days or whatever, right?
Could I use my prophetic journal and augury?
Yeah. Probably. Let's take a look at that again.
Prophetic journal.
What skills do you guys have?
Augury says you can attune using light to ask a question of the spiritual realm, which will be answered in a vivid and potent vision. Increased effect.
Yep. So that's just a tune roll if you'd like to do that. Go into your dream state.
Okay,
I'm decent at a tune.
How many do you have? 2?
2.
Okay, that's not a bad option.
I have 2 survey and 2 study, by the way.
Okay.
Could we have could we each try something different and potentially get some sort of advantage? Not like actual advantage, but have all of us try and do something, and depending on if we get it, so if one of us gets a good roll, we can do something.
Yeah, I would say you just start with one person, right? And if it fails, then you can move on to different avenues until you get the answer you need, right?
I feel like Seth's role might be the least have the least consequences, right? Because if you just ask the gods or what, I don't know,
ask the drugs.
Then
yeah,
right, then
the
there's not
the cult
really
that Clancy comes from has it's like Mormonism sort of, right? Hippie Mormonism that uses drugs to talk to God.
I feel like there wouldn't be a whole
how's that any different from real life?
Honestly, not much.
But if Jordan made a study roll, right, and it failed, then that might just
yeah.
Yeah, it could potentially.
I think that might be a good backup option.
Also, Clancy's special ability here says increased effect, which I believe means increased effect on this roll, right? Because he's rolling a 2, but I think this special ability gives him increased effect to do it. He's better at this sort of thing because he could roll this to do. He could do this with a tune already. Technically, that's what a tune can do. It's just he can do it with increased effect because of this. So
that sounds like a good option to me.
A tune. What would it be? What was her position?
Increased effect, I think, is going to mean great for effect. And then for position...
Control?
Let's think about this. What are the consequences of failure here, right? Like, what happens if he
fails? Not
fails?
much, because I'm
we're not in the middle of a job. You're in the safety of your base. Yeah, let's do controlled. I think this is a good...
that's why I suggested we do this one first, because I feel like if he fails this, this
is the one with the least.
Then we can go with
failure.
the more risky one, which is actually like doing some research.
If anything, I feel like the worst effect that comes out of this is me coming back from it going, "You're like, so what did you learn?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing something." What's out of curiosity? What's fortune roll mean?
You're just like, I learned that I have vertigo.
What did you say?
What's fortune roll out of curiosity?
Yeah, so
controlled, desperate, and fortune.
Yeah, fortune is basically a roll that doesn't have position or effect. It's just like, does it happen or does it not? Sometimes those things happen in the game. Yeah.
Okay, so controlled
for luck, basically.
Great effect?
Yes, controlled and great.
And do I want to get any bonus die on this?
Well, how much stress do you have to work with is the question, right?
I have 4 left. I don't know if it makes sense for anyone to help with this. I'm taking drugs.
Yeah.
In this.
I have all my stress cleared, so I
know, but at the same time, I'm like, 1, you might need it, and 2, you also
but I have all my stress cleared.
But here, is there a way she can actually...
one? I only need to give away 1, right?
That's true.
To help you.
Yep.
Right? I feel like 1 is not that big of a deal to get you an extra dice.
So how are you helping exactly, Paloma?
That's the question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. How would I help? I don't have skills revolving around drugs.
Yeah. Which is funny. You're just the enforcer for the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Would she be like keeping guard to make sure that I'm safe?
Yeah, but you're like in the hidden base,
you're already
right?
in our base.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like originally not pushing for it. I mean, if I couldn't think of a good way for her to help.
If we can't find a good reason, then I don't think you can help.
What kind of equipment do you have? Do you have equipment that could help?
I have ammunition, spyglass, and a trained hunting pet.
Yep.
So, no. I don't think I can help you now looking at it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I kind of figured.
Just Paloma points a gun at your head, and the stress of it really just makes it more vivid, you know?
What if we got my friend? My psychonaut friend?
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, Jordan has a contact, or Lionel has a contact that is like specifically good at this sort of stuff. That's true. I'm trying to figure out how that works exactly. Like, can you just like get an extra dice for having a friend? I don't think so. I think it would have to be like another roll or something. Or maybe because you're doing the stress. Maybe that's the whole idea.
It's
right?
Okay. You know what? If Roll20 wants us to have a good session, we'll get the roll anyways. It doesn't matter.
Do we just go for it, guys?
I think I'll allow if Jordan just wants to spend the 1 stress, to help. I think him having a contact is enough.
Do you have a lot of stress already?
I'm 2 for max.
Okay, let's not do that.
Then don't do that.
Let's not do that. I'm just gonna roll it.
I think I can. So I can probably help Jordan. Nope.
I already rolled it. I got a 1 and a 2.
No, I was going to say, if this fails, then I can help Jordan probably, like with the survey or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So I come back from it like, I saw strange things. None of them helpful. Okay, wait, random question. Could I have gotten potentially a bonus die for my prophetic journal?
I don't know. Because
back, guys.
The kind of weird thing, right, is like, typically it's like, hey, I brought this along on the job. I have to use a slot. Oh, I guess it's italics. Yeah.
Because I'm just going to roll an extra
D6.
That's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
D6, right?
Yes.
Didn't matter.
No, yep, still failure. Luckily, because it's controlled, right? This basically just means, you're looking for answers and you don't find any. You got to find something else to do.
I saw a purple elephant.
Yep.
I don't know what that means.
So what you're telling me is doing drugs was not the answer we were looking for.
Yes, and that is the message I would love for people to take home today. Drugs will not reveal the answer to all of your questions.
Or any of them.
Yeah, very true. Unless your question is, what is a bad thing I can do? So, Jordan, do you want to do a study roll or something, right? So have done some research on the man.
Yeah, let's do a little research.
I think Lissa said she'd help, so you have a...
Yep.
So we're controlled now.
So I think this one will be risky and standard because this is you actively doing research. You're out in the city doing stuff. But yeah, you can get that bonus die from Paloma. Whoa, nice job. Okay, so partial success. So there's some thing that happens here that's not a complete success. Still check how that usually works. You're doing study. I think the obvious answer here is it just advances the clock, the Gideon investigation clock, a little bit more. I think we'll advance it.
Well, if the session goes well, that clock will stop ticking soon.
But if the clock fills up while you're still on the mission, bad things will happen, right? Because he'll figure it out. But otherwise, I think it succeeds. And so your question basically is, what tip could we give him that would actually give us the vulnerable position that we want, right? Go ahead and mark that stress, Alyssa. We just assumed you gave Jordan some help here.
Yes, good. Sorry about that. I had a
you're fine.
bathroom emergency.
No
Stupid gallbladder.
We
lack thereof one.
Yeah.
We had a success. It just means that the clock got moved forward a little bit on potentially him finding out about us.
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so if that ticks down all the way or up all the way, bad things will happen. But as long as it's still not filled.
I mean, honestly, what'd be different? I mean, it's just bad things just happen in this game.
Very true. Very true. Just more bad things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a name of somebody he would want to go after.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? I'm looking at the list of factions here. Right, what does he care about? The only thing we know about this guy is he's an investigator. Apparently, he's not an inspector. Actually, he's a marshal with a grudge. So this is a little bit outside of his normal job anyway to be doing this in the first place, right? Normally, he's a beat cop, right? He goes around and make sure people aren't breaking the law, arrest people up if they need it, whatever. The marshals are also usually very corrupt. I think for him, mainly, this is just a grudge, right? This is just him wanting to take you down because you blew off his fingers. This isn't about doing a proper investigation of any sort. So probably what you find out, right, is that he is corrupt and he's taking bribes from a particular faction. And if you, break that chain somehow, right? If you make the faction think that he's gonna betray them, or if you make Gideon think that his they're not gonna give him any more bribes or something along those lines, then you might be able to get them to have a confrontation, maybe, right? Like you get them angry, get them he's gonna show up their base and be like, you should have given me the bribe, you owe me or whatever, and maybe you've stirred up trouble. That would probably be the route to go here. I'm just trying to figure out which faction makes the most sense for that. Probably a criminal faction, probably an underworld faction. It's probably not a cult, even though the Kingdom of God would be a fun one.
No, just give us new enemies. It's
fine. let's you know what? Why not? Let's do some new enemies. Let me look, because I just have the names here. Let me look at my actual descriptions of these on my Google Doc here. Hold Let's see. I'm thinking maybe a tier 2 or something, because that would be a little bit more the marshal speed. Oh, the marshals are tier 3. Okay. It'd be tier 3 then.
Well, he wouldn't want to work for a tier 2 because like then he feels like he's above them kind of thing and kind
Maybe.
of
I don't know. Did any of those names stick out to you?
Sorry, which ones again?
The
The
King's
factions.
Ransom was the only one that kind
Ransom. Yeah, King's Ransom is a tier 2 illegal gambling ring. That sounds promising.
Well, because he took bribes from our one contact, right? Because that's why he originally was there.
Yes,
right?
That's true. Yes, he was being bribed by the merchant guy, right?
Right. So maybe the merchant guy, he probably also has done some gambling, and maybe it was a contact through that.
Yeah, because I don't think, because you guys weren't dealing with the gilded purse, right? When you were talking with him, he was just a random merchant, right? He was like a normal everyday guy, just from the district. So I think that makes sense. Yeah, let's go with the King's Ransom. So King's Ransom, illegal gambling ring. I think gambling probably is in general frowned upon in the city, because they have probably some more puritanical views on, luck of the dice or whatever. You're not supposed to tempt fate. So that's illegal.
Drugs are totally okay, but gambling is where we draw the line.
Do you understand? Do you live in the same world that we do, Jordan? Because that's everywhere. That's all people of all times. They're always inconsistent about random stuff like this. Yeah.
It's just hilarious.
Oh yeah, no, humans are hilarious. So King's Ransom, they have, it's pretty classic, like underground casino sort of thing. Obviously 1920s sort of flair, because that's what our theme kind of revolves around in the city. So something more like a speakeasy, lots of, flappers and dancers and cigarettes and whatever, and I guess it just depends on how you would want to go about it. But he's been taking bribes to look the other way. And I guess kind of up to you guys how you want to break that trust or lead to a situation that the King's Ransom might want to take Gideon out, or vice versa.
Gambling.
Right, because the trick with this too is if Gideon feels like he needs to come in with enough force, he has access to a tier 3 organization, right. So he could probably take out the King's Ransom if he needed to. The trick is to get him to go there without the strength of arms.
Wait, I have an idea. So essentially, the King's Ransom is a group that's doing a group of criminals that are doing things, and they're paying Gideon to look the other way. Yep. Here's the thing: they're paying Gideon to look the other way.
What if we get
marshal? What if we get a different marshal to come bust them on some stuff? They're like, Gideon, what the frick? You were supposed to be protecting us.
That's good. Yeah.
And then what? Gideon gets arrested?
No, Gideon gets murked by the criminals because it essentially caused bad blood between the two.
So the idea would be reveal like an anonymous tip to the cops, right, to the marshals. This is happening here. Here's where it's happening. You guys would have to find that out first, right? And then you wouldn't necessarily implicate Gideon, right? Because you don't want Gideon to necessarily be, I guess, the marshals are corrupt enough that like he probably would just get off with a slap on the wrist. The trick here, right, is to get Gideon and the King's Ransom to be at each other's throats. So if the King's Ransom's like, what the heck, Gideon? Your job was supposed to make sure the marshals don't mess with our business, and this other marshal wants to mess with it because, I can get a promotion by shutting this down, right? Then the King's Ransom is like,
then maybe that's our angle. Maybe then we send a note that says like, to the King's Ransom, just so you know, Gideon's up for a promotion. your neck's on the line. Like, or you're going to be collateral damage soon.
So the issue with that one would be you'd have to convince them that you're a trustworthy voice
source
opposed to Gideon, right?
If we just send someone after them, they're already like, wait, what the heck? We were supposed to be protected. We already make them mad. It's a lot easier to send cops after criminals and criminals.
All you need to do is find out where the King's Ransom stuff is happening and send an anonymous tip to the cops.
That's all we gotta do. Okay.
Honestly, if everything works out, then yes, right? Then they'll fight. You'll probably
we just have to succeed these 2 roles, guys. That's
you'll have to stoke the fire a little bit, right?
Here's my thought too. If you go when he goes, if we find out when they're going to approach them, and we send you to like
shoot one random person in the crowd, and then everyone starts shooting, right?
Well, because then he's like, oh no, Gideon brought backup.
Exactly. Yep. Right? Like the 3 steps of the plan. It's literally just find out where the illegal gambling is happening, tip the cops off. Once they, the bad blood, you have to find out, I guess 4 steps. Find out when Gideon is meeting them next, because then there'll be some tension between them in that meeting. Have Paloma show up with a sniper rifle, shoot one random person from the King's Ransom, and then everyone's going to pull out guns and be like, oh, we're being betrayed, right? And then Gideon's dead.
That seems like a lot of steps for failure.
Yep, but it's the best option we got.
Is it? I feel like we can come up with something else.
The last plan you had a lot more steps that could fail. Let's be real here.
They did fail.
They did.
Yeah, okay. Do you have other ideas?
No, I don't have any other ideas, but
so this is Lionel's grudge here too, right? So does Lionel have any input as to how he wants to go about doing this, or changes he would make to the plan?
Do you have ideas that take less step and makes us fail less often?
Because also like Lionel has a bunch of skills that you guys haven't really been using, like haven't been using to their full effect yet.
We could always set up bombs.
That's true.
That might be better than sitting me in by myself with a gun.
I have another idea. Well, you go if you have an idea, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan, I want to hear your input.
Well, I mean, I think the plan is as good as any, but I think maybe like the idea of swapping out Paloma for, like, what if we set it up so they think that the cops have set off these bombs, and so they're like, oh, these cops and Gideon's like betrayed us, so
I think it's the same thing, right? It's either bombs or me going in with a gun, right?
Yeah. The only issue with bombs, though, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is it's less likely to be obvious what's happening, right? Like just random explosions is different from one person being shot and then everyone thinks that there's like a betrayal happening. If it's just a bomb that goes off, it's like, did someone leave the gas on, right? Like, who knows why that happened.
That's exactly it. What if it's set up in an area where shoot like random sporadic gunfire might trigger some sort of explosion?
It just depends on how you guys want it to come across to the cops, right?
Ooh.
Like, what will they look at when they see explosions just wrecked this whole place, Gideon's dead, what was happening here? Because you want to make sure that they don't keep investigating what Gideon was investigating.
No, I guess the guns is probably the best option.
Well, I'm thinking like if we were to somehow initiate the firefight, right, and there's like guns going around or like bullets flying everywhere, but then the we have that, like, if this happens in a location where pulling out your gun and shooting might mean that you shoot something that will explode, but we also have rigged explosives.
We don't control where they're meeting, though.
Yeah,
that is true.
I think that's the problem. Yeah. And plus, like, if there are explosions, like, they might just be like, and Gideon died trying to, like,
right. The best option at the end of it, like in terms of like what everybody sees in the aftermath, is Gideon was corrupt. he got shot by a gang. The end, right?
Right.
And then everyone forgets about that he ever existed.
Yeah.
Including us.
Like if that's I think if this is the plan that we're doing, I don't know if bombs need to be involved, but if there's a different plan that has less steps, then that might be something that's
Jordan, what other skills do you have? Let's look at that.
He's like a doctor, right?
Well, I have study, survey, tinker. I have one in rec, one in consort, and then as far as like my actual special abilities, when you invent or craft a creation with clockwork features, take +1 result level to your roll. You begin with one special design already known. And then physician is you can tinker with bones, blood, and bodily humors to treat wounds or stabilize the dying. You may study a malady or corpse. Everyone in your crew gets +1 die to their healing treatment rolls. So like the physician one doesn't really apply here. Unless we set it up that like he thinks he's going in for a doctor appointment and it's actually me. Surprise.
Which you could do. It's just that is that going to be a better way to do it? Yeah, than getting him shot by a gang. I don't know if it will.
The one thing I can think of that makes sense in this is like setting up Paloma's gun so it makes it seem like she's shooting, essentially making it seem like having it like a scatter shot where it makes it seem like more guns are shooting than actually are.
Well, I have explosive rounds.
I could
not even explosive rounds, but just make it like it seem like there's multiple shots going off.
Well, I also my sharpshooter range allows me to unleash a barrage of rapid fire to suppress the enemy.
I was gonna say technically Lionel could also come up with some like clockwork contraption that shoots off bullets from a different angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Clancy will just sit back and
mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to go over, I guess, so we're 4 steps. This is not going to go well.
Oh. Never mind. I had a thought, but then I realized that would be adding another step. I was going to say, like, one thing I could do, like, to make sure the cops don't have any way to, like, win the firefight, would be to, somehow get a hold of all their guns and tinker with them beforehand. So they aren't going to
like tinker with Gideon's gun.
That's an awesome idea, but that would add extra steps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so step 1, figure out where they're gambling.
Yep.
Step 2,
tip off the cops.
Note to tip off the cops. 3, figure out when they're meeting, Gideon and the
and 4,
King's ransom, and 4, shoot off a shot.
Yep. Get them shooting each other.
Okay.
Would an alternate route be getting the people he's gambling with to, getting the people he's gambling with to think he has a really big debt? Or like, yeah, to the point where they're like, well, we need to off this guy. Or like make him look like he's winning. Make him look like he's cheating.
I don't think Gideon himself is cheating though, is he?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I make a argument for combining step 1 and 3 together?
Or step 1 and 3 again?
So 1 being finding
where they're gambling.
Oh, probably.
And then step 3 where they're meeting because if we figure out when they're meeting, we also like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like
so the issue with
if we figure out when their next meeting is first. And then send the note. You know what I mean? I
see what you're saying. Yes. Okay.
Could I make an argument for that?
That makes sense.
Like set it up so that the bust happens at their next meeting.
Well, not even that, I would say, right?
But just beforehand.
What Alyssa's saying basically is the role being made here, right, is to follow or figure out Gideon's schedule, right? That's the way you're finding out the location is when does Gideon meet these people? And then the 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Then you would know what the next meeting would be, and you know where he goes. That makes sense.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we're down to 3 steps.
Okay, 3 is better than 4. So
Well, I was just gonna say, like the gambling thing. I like this better, but the thing I was saying about the gambling thing was like if we made it look like Gideon was cheating with whatever gambling he was doing. Like, if you're gambling with mob members and they think you're cheating and you're winning a bunch all of a sudden, like, you're going to get shot.
Oh, so you mean like rig one of the machines that Gideon uses?
Is that the kind of gambling they do, though?
No, I don't think those exist yet, but
oh,
it'll be more like roulette and cards and dice and whatever. Yeah.
I have an idea.
The thing is, I don't think we've established whether or not he's gambling there.
Actually gambling.
I would doubt it because if he's being
He's just
paid to
looking
look
the
the
other
other way, right? He probably doesn't want to implicate himself as more than he needs to, right?
I have an idea of how we could figure out the gambling, and I think it would be fairly easy. Well, easier anyway. Essentially, Clancy could go ask because he wants to gamble. He figures out where it is, goes there the day it's supposed to happen, and essentially gets because it isn't one of the things we can do to get our heat down is to essentially get arrested for a little while. Was that something we still have to do?
Someone needs to be implicated for the crimes that you've committed. Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't be a crime that we've committed, though. That would just be a crime.
Either one of you needs to be arrested yourselves, or you need to frame someone in such a way that they are taking the heat for your crimes.
So my question is, if Clancy goes to the place where the gambling is happening and is there when the bust happens, would that count?
If Clancy gets arrested,
because my thought is we could potentially do that where Clancy's like legitimately like, I'm gonna go gamble for a little bit. I'm gonna go in the slammer for a bit to make sure that the thing happens correctly.
Sure.
To make sure.
And then we can do the fun prison mini game where you have to make rolls to see if you do well in prison.
Probably not. But, here's the thing. If anything, Clancy's probably the best talker here to figure out where the gambling's happening. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily have to be there, but if being there is going to make sure it happens.
Hi, I'm Nappa, and this is Vegeta. He was a prison don't.
I know the next one.
I think let's just go ahead and make that first roll, right? Because you have to figure out what Gideon's schedule is and where this is happening. And that seems like the first thing that needs to happen before anything else does anyway. So,
what kind of roll would that be? Because I was thinking more when I was thinking more of just figuring out where the gambling was, not necessarily.
So yeah, Alyssa wanted to try to put that into one roll, and I think you can. It would be a survey roll probably. Because you're trying to watch Gideon's patterns.
Could I'll take one stress to help with sway.
Okay, so you're talking to people and trying to get information.
I have a pretty good sway, so I'll use that.
Sounds good. Who would like to roll
Jordan,
survey then?
I think that'd be Jordan. I think he has a 2 in survey.
It's true. So. Makes sense that Lytle will be stalking the dude.
Can you give him any
bonus
dice? Could
I argue for prowl as a bonus die? Because
sure. Yeah, you need scouts.
Sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take 1 stress to help with that.
Yeah, Lionel is the one piecing this together. But Seth and Alyssa are certainly helping.
You got 2 bonus die.
I have 2 bonus die, and is it study or survey?
Survey, right? Because this is about watching him.
Do you have any items that could give you bonus die? Like my prophetic journal, Caleb let me have a bonus die for that.
Not unless it's tinkering or wrecking something.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't have would a magnifying glass or something like that help? Not magnifying glass, a telescope.
I have clockwork technology, I have documents, subterfuge supplies.
So also, this is all still in free play, and I'm still not 100% sure on what you can get from equipment in free play. So
my item was in italic, so that probably helped.
Yeah. I'm thinking we'll just ignore that part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking 2 bonus dice.
Okay, so survey risky.
I'm thinking just risky standard for this one. Yeah.
Okay, risky standard, 2 bonus dice. Clickety clackety. I roll and
2 5s.
Not bad.
I'll take it.
2 5s.
2 2 5 5.
So
hey.
I think we'll just do the classic, right? You do it, but the clock goes up 1 more. So
how many more do we have?
1 more tick.
Oh God.
Yep. So 1 more tick, and he is found out. But that makes sense, right? Like Lionel is actively stalking him. So.
Right.
He's suspicious.
here's
He's
the
starting to
thing.
figure out what's going on.
It doesn't matter if he finds out
If he's dead.
and then he dies.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as someone doesn't take up his crusade, you'll be good.
We've got. So we
now will
found
this
out.
actually bring down our wanted level if we get rid of this guy?
So wanted goes away when someone gets arrested, right?
Right.
That has
Okay,
to that
so
has to be what
happen.
happened. Yeah.
Okay, dang.
So someone
just
has
trying to
to
get
do
rid of
because
this.
otherwise they're like, oh, they're still out there, like right?
Okay, so we're just trying to get rid of this pesky timer at this point.
Pretty much, yes. And if you have a time for
And
like,
by
another
doing
job,
this, we are putting like this is what's funny to me is that we're doing our best to try to get rid of this timer, but by doing that, we're filling up the timer.
You're filling up heat. Yeah.
Yep.
And the timer. Okay, so you know that he the gambling house or whatever happens in the pits over here, right? This kind of criminal area. You know where it is, and you know when the next time that Gideon is meeting with them. So just up to you how you want to set this up.
Okay, so we did step 1. What was step 2 again?
Step 2
Write
is
a letter to
tip off the cops and have them do a raid, right?
During the meeting.
Okay.
Not even during the meeting, right? It would be
even
better if it's
beforehand,
before
just-
the meeting, because then when they meet, they'll be angry at Gideon, right? That's the idea. It's like, whoa, we got raided. Like, you should have stopped that.
Don't we have like forgery tools or something? Oh no, I don't know if forging any sort of documents would help right now, actually.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Could we argue that Clancy could use his sway to write something to convince them? Or is that more of an in-person thing?
I think you could use sway. That seems fine to me.
I don't know what else you would use. It's got to be some
Right.
kind of
I know, that's why I was looking over like,
it'd
I
either
can't
be
think of
that
what
or
else it would
having a
be.
contact in the police force, right? In the marshals that could do this for you with consort.
We kind of have a contact, but it's more like a stalker in this sense. So sway, what would this be? Because we're writing a letter.
Yes, and the idea is this is an anonymous tip, but you're framing it in such a way that you're like, they're sitting ducks in there. This is going to be a great, like someone's going to get a promotion if you go and raid them, right? That's the idea. So I'm thinking we'll do great effect, but desperate position, right? Because if it goes wrong, it'll go really wrong. But if it goes right, it'll go really right.
I know it'll happen.
Like,
if
how
it
will
goes
it go
but I'm
wrong
not-
for us, though? I guess that's really
They'll
the
probably
question.
just trace it back to you, right? Someone saw you plant the
It's the mail system. How do they?
yeah, you might be right about that.
Right?
But
I
here's
feel
the
like
this
thing.
is the issue that I'm seeing though, where it's like, why would they believe this random tip off? Like, there
Here's-
has to be
here's
well,
some.
so
weight
that's
to
what
it.
I'm saying. I feel like the consequence, right, is that they're just like, this is stupid, right? And
I
then
think
the plan just falls apart.
I think I know.
What?
I think the consequence is the person that they send to investigate is Gideon.
Oh, I was gonna say just Gideon gets a letter and ignores it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's do that. I think it's going to be desperate great then, because the idea would be if this, because you don't know, like, I don't think you guys have control over who gets the letter,
Overseeing-
right?
right, exactly,
So if
yeah.
if you fail, Gideon gets the letter. The timer increases. He knows that you sent it, and it all starts dominoing
do you
from
have
there.
a bonus die to give me?
I have a command that I might be able to argue for, right? Like, but I don't know how we'd frame that of like,
Yeah, I'm not
it's
sure.
probably not going to be from a higher up if it's supposed to be an anonymous
Exactly.
tip,
Yeah.
you know. I could see another prowl making a case for a prowl roll, right? Making sure it gets
yeah.
sent to like
Okay,
the right area,
I believe
kind
that.
of a thing.
Yep. Because you can even Paloma could even like follow the letter as it makes its way to the marshal station or whatever, right? And if Gideon is about to pick it up, right, like she causes some distraction, and right, like that could be part of that
Grabs it,
whole
right.
role right here. It's just her watching, stealthing, waiting, making sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
So one bonus die.
Yes,
Yeah.
unless Lionel has an idea for a bonus die, but he's also
He has two
very
He's
close to
also-
stress
Okay,
out.
what-
so.
What is Devil's Bark?
The only thing that I could think of is if I did some sort of study or survey to give this more credibility.
Know who would be. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What is the devil's bargain again?
The devil's bargain is basically you'll agree that there will be some complication that happens no matter what, but you'll get this extra die. So there'll be like an extra kind of slightly unrelated thing that's going to complicate your life here.
I don't know if we can deal with guaranteed complications right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially it's not even going to guarantee that this is going to.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Here goes nothing. No.
8-4. It's a
4.
It's a success with a complication. It still happens, right?
Okay.
So let's see.
I forgot what that was first.
Yeah, so this is sway, desperate. Let's see. You can mark a XP, by the way, on
Oh, right.
whatever sway's attribute is.
Resolve. Wait, do I mark something for a tune as well, or since I failed, did that? Forget. I rolled a tune.
Only if it's a desperate roll.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes. Desperate is why you get the XP.
Couldn't remember.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So the idea here, right, is that someone besides Gideon gets this letter. But there's some reason why it doesn't go exactly the way you think it would. Right, because we know that the marshals are really corrupt. Okay, this is what happens. I think... So here's the question. Are you paying attention to when this raid is happening? Are you trying to keep an eye on it? Or does it just happen off screen?
We'd probably be interested to make sure it happens. Would we?
Well, right. I would think that we want to make sure that it actually did happen, because if it doesn't happen, then him needing them doesn't matter.
So you're watching them like gear up for what looks like a raid, right? And they show up at the gambling ring, right? And instead of bursting in the door, he just walks in, right? This captain or whoever it is who got the letter, right? He's flanked by a bunch of marshals. They have their guns in their holsters still. It makes a big up. You see this, like, this is probably Paloma watching, right? Like in her stealth mode.
Right. My prowl. Right?
Exactly. And but instead of bursting in and being like, this is a raid, like everybody down, like this is illegal, and you're all being under arrest. Instead, the guy just walks in, and they're all like, all the gambling people are like, whoa, coppers, like what's going on? And there's kind of like a tense standoff, and you hear from the snippets you are able to gather that the guy decided that he wants to be the person who gets the bribes instead, right? He's not going to shut them down. So this will still create tension, right, between Gideon and them. But it doesn't quite go the way you wanted it to, right? It's not going to be as, like, they didn't shoot a bunch of people. They're not going to probably be as angry with Gideon as they would have been otherwise.
Gideon will be angry at them.
Well, Gideon will be more angry at them, right? Exactly.
Right. Because now his bribe's gone. Okay.
Yeah, but they probably won't care, right?
Hold on.
Effect.
What if we're still in the middle of this happening and a shot goes off and it seems like, oh, the cop shot someone?
It'd be obvious that they didn't, though. The advantage...
You know what we need to do at this point? We need to make the engagement roll. We haven't actually officially started the job yet, but I think it has started. So let's do that now. Right, this has all been preliminary work. This is where it actually begins. So I guess maybe I do have one question.
Well,
do you try to interrupt what's happening right here, or do you let it play out? Right, because basically what happens is he's like, I found out about this. The price doubled. I'm the guy you pay now, but I'll let you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, the price doubled. That does add some tension.
Yeah.
So now is Gideon not only getting money, like they are having to pay twice as much.
Yeah. So still tension, but there's a third party that's still like that has interest in what's going on here, and if there could be more complications if something goes wrong later on the line here.
Here's the thing. I think this still works, right? Gideon's going to be pissed that he's lost his side money.
Yeah.
Right? And they're also going to be pissed at him for like, maybe like, because I'm assuming they didn't say that there was like an anonymous tip. Maybe they think that Gideon like had like a loose lip or something and let it slip or something. I don't know. Right? Like, I feel like there's still, everybody's still going to be pissed off. It's just not going to be quite as like, Gideon's betraying us, but I think we can still play this off like Gideon got pissed off, went to go confront them. It went badly for him. Poor Gideon.
Yep.
Whatever.
So
I don't know if Paloma, especially because the way that we framed it was that Paloma was by herself, just making sure that this was like going down. I don't think she'd interfere, especially in her state.
Sounds good. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And then we can move on.
I don't know, like
roll.
guys, like we can always I don't know if Caleb will let us retcon. We can say we're all there and try to interfere, but
sure.
I don't know.
I feel like we can still work with this. I feel like this isn't necessarily something we need to interfere with.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
I feel like
I still feel like letting a bullet fly is still going to accomplish what we want it to accomplish.
Just not yet.
In the other meeting.
Well, right. I mean, like when Gideon's there, right? I still feel like a random shot, while tensions are high, is still going to accomplish. Is all that we need. Like, I really don't think it's going to be much of a difference here.
Okay, engagement roll.
But now we just have more corrupt, marshals.
Yeah. Okay, so starts off with 1 die for sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Kinda.
I think so.
Yeah. So 1 die there. You get 2 dice. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so. You've gone out of your way to try to combine steps so that it's as simple as possible, right?
Okay.
We've
already made 3 rolls.
Exactly, right. At this point, the only thing that needs to happen is 1 bullet, right?
Okay. That's
in theory.
fair.
So, because all of that was preliminary.
And Paloma getting away, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Hey, sniper.
Does the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? You've explicitly sought out where Gideon's weakest, so another die there. It's 3 dice. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? No. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
They already did. Oh, no?
No, we decided not to go with that
contacts.
one. Yeah. Okay. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in this operation? I mean, Gideon is, right? I think that counts.
Is he interfering, though?
Maybe not. Well, he has an investigation going, right? That's kind of always interfering with what's going on with you. So I'm gonna take away the dice for that. So 2 dice.
Right.
Are there any other elements that you might want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you +1 die. Higher tier target will give you -1 die. I think because it's just Gideon really that you're doing this against, I think we'll just leave it at that and we'll do 2 dice for a fortune roll, and that is the engagement roll.
All right.
Rolls of engagement.
So whoever would like to make that fortune roll, there's a place on your character sheet that just says roll fortune.
Goes.
2 dice. All right, Jordan.
Roll fortune. Number of dice.
This is your revenge.
To submit notes.
Nothing.
No.
Be sharp.
Hey,
He
very
did
good.
it!
Be sharp it is.
All right, you're in a controlled position when the action starts. That's the first time that's happened.
Wow, ever.
Dang.
Oh man, the critical. If you got 2 6s, it means you've already overcome the first obstacle and you're in a controlled position for what's next. So that would be incredible.
Only.
Wow.
Hey, we're in a good position though.
Yep.
So basically, I just need to line up the shot and take it.
I think
and succeed.
I think maybe right. Okay. First thing that needs to happen is you need to get in position, right?
Would we have?
So who is the? Well, we got to go through the rest of this, right? So loadout. What do we got for loadout?
I'm probably doing light.
Everybody doing light?
Escape. Because it makes sense that we want to escape quickly if we need to.
In and out as quickly as possible.
Well, so I guess like the question is, right, like, am I actually going into the gambling hall and taking a shot inside, or am I
this will depend on your roll,
window?
Right? Your roll will also determine where's the best position to shoot from, right?
Right. I
Can
feel like
you
that
get
has
inside?
to determine my load.
Yeah.
Because obviously the best way would be for me to just take the shot from afar.
I don't think you can. Yes. Okay. So
I don't know if that's still going to have the
windows.
same, but that's not going to have the same effect though, because if it comes through the window,
yeah, I think you.
right,
I think you need to be inside. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's my thought
Yep.
too. So I think the thing isn't me because he doesn't know Paloma.
Mhm.
So I don't think the problem is me like getting in necessarily. It's
You're-
me gonna be getting
I
out
think he
with
knows
all
about
this
your
fire.
crew. He knows about your crew generally at this point, but I think Paloma's probably the person least on his radar, so that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, if I was there, it'd be a little more obvious.
Yes. Yeah. The other two have both met him before.
He's
Right, I've never met him
interrogated me,
before.
and I barely got out of
So
it.
he knows
And,
about you, but probably wouldn't recognize you by sight.
Right,
He probably
that's
trusts me less out of it. Actually, no. Would you trust me or Jordan least?
Jordan least.
Well,
Okay,
Jordan Lacey blew up his fingers.
Yeah. He
Well, I mean,
has
but me-
all of his
he-
revenge is based on Jordan.
He literally just saw me walk off with a guy who ended up dying.
Yeah, but he
But-
can't prove that. yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He can't. He thinks it's you, or
Mhm.
but he can't prove it.
He might at least suspect. Yeah.
So you doing light as well then, Alyssa, so you can sneak out as quickly as possible.
I
Just light.
I don't actually have light as one of my items.
I have light.
No,
Unless you
light.
just
Light.
light.
Sorry, light being the loadout you take. That's what I'm asking
Oh.
right now.
Oh, got it.
Like which is that what it says? Yeah, light loadout, normal
Yeah,
loadout, heavy loadout.
Yeah.
Well,
So light is the one where you can like disappear into crowds and you don't look suspicious.
right. I probably should. Because so I wouldn't need my rifle, right? If I'm doing a more closest range,
Probably,
Because if I have
yeah.
a rifle, right, that's gonna be super obvious. But like a
Yeah, you
Pistol
Hey
probably-
guys,
is
don't
gonna
mind me. Just here with my sniper.
Yeah, it makes sense that you
Old
just be using your
Betsy.
pistols for this. Yeah.
so pistol is just one, and then do you guys think I should bring explosive rounds or just?
Well, again, you don't need to decide this until it becomes relevant, right?
Oh, I guess that's true.
You
Yeah,
just-
let's
you
just
mark
do
it
a
off
light.
when you need
Yeah,
to.
let's just do.
Could I technically give her a vial of light?
So you can mark it off your sheet, right?
Yeah, no, but and I could technically give it to her
I
when
think
it
so.
count to her loadout,
Yep.
though. That's my question.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
The idea is like, what did people bring? That's the most important thing here. So you
Yeah.
can hand
No,
off
I
something to
would-
someone else.
I would probably do a light load because my goal is to sneak away.
Yep.
Like shoot off the shot, get out while they, are
Yep,
firing
yep.
at each other.
Okay, so before Paloma makes her roll here, what are the other two of you doing? Where are you in this mess? Like, are
That's
you
a good
nearby, just kind of
question.
waiting in the casino hall for whatever reason, set up in some place? Like, I guess we don't need to decide that, but if you have an idea right now, because technically we can just be like, flashback, I was here all along among the people if we needed to be.
I'm guessing I would be nearby, but I don't know exactly where. Because I mean, at the same time, because like it partially depends on. We could say I was someplace and moved because I don't want to be necessarily in there for Gideon to
Like
see
gunfire.
me.
Yeah.
And forgetting
Then-
to see you.
Then that will immediately cause other problems.
Yep.
So I probably
Here's-
would not be like immediately in the casino hall.
Here's the deal. I don't know how it would need to happen, but Lionel wants, like, part of his revenge thing is that he's obsessed with cutting him open.
Yeah. So you want the body. You want, at the very least, you want his body, but cutting him to kill him would be even better.
Right, but that looks suspicious.
Well, right, exactly.
So that might be
Oh.
part of the aftermath, right? Where like after the job goes off or doesn't, if he is dead, and the cops do need to find his body for this to make sense, right?
Yeah.
For this to be pulled off, but making a roll for Jordan to get the body afterwards is probably something that'll come up.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, is like figure out
Steal him from the
where
morgue.
he's buried.
Yeah.
Not even from the morgue, like go to his grave
Yeah,
and dig him up. After all, the person that was also my rival, the other down arrow person, was a corpse thief.
Oh, that's true.
So it comes full circle.
Okay, so I think we're agreeing that you all are, at least
You're nearby,
as of right now, like out of the
out of the
hall.
building, but nearby.
Yes.
All right, first thing would be a
Okay.
prowl, right? You got to sneak into the building.
Okay.
All
right.
I'm thinking so it's controlled, right? Because that's you start off as, but I think it'll be standard effect.
Okay. Well, my thing automatically makes me go down to a less effect, right?
Oh,
I guess I'm not sure how that works.
Oh yeah, let me check.
Because normally I take a -1 die, but because of my thing, it goes down to a lesser effect.
Yes. Okay, so we'll do controlled limited then.
Okay.
Yeah, so your wound is kind of limiting your actual position that you'll be able to get to here.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Hey,
I got
still
a
got a
6.
6. Yep.
Nice.
So limited means basically there isn't a good like a really good spot for this.
For me to like really stay hidden
Yeah,
and like to get
yeah.
out well.
So I think you have to choose between those two. Do you want to be well hidden or have a clear escape route? You can only choose one.
Ooh, even with the success, wow, that sucks.
Because it's limited, right? It's not about
Right,
you
right.
did as well as you possibly could.
You could
but
with my injury,
yes.
but yeah. Go ahead, Jordan.
I would like to make the case that if you were in there and just were like a first timer there gambling and you're just hobbling around and the guns go off and there's all the hysteria and everything, right? And maybe you're not necessarily hidden, but you don't need to be because it's like there's this hysteria and it's like, oh no, I'm scared. I'm just going to run away. Because there's going to be, I'm sure there's plenty of other people who are running away. The only thing you need to be really stealthy about is making sure people don't realize that it was you who intentionally.
Well, that's what I think. So I think that's the consequence. Like, right, like if I'm being stealthy right now, then they're not going to know the shots from me. I think that's what Caleb's saying, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm not, then
basically,
it's possible that they're going to know.
The choice you're making, right, is are you vulnerable when the shot goes off? And like people might notice that it was you who shot. Gideon might not know. Like it might still be fine, right? Because they'll be just like, oh, who's the new girl? Okay, yeah, we're shooting, right?
Right.
But that's a vulnerability. But if you choose to be hidden, then you're up in the balcony somewhere, and there's no clear way to get around anybody to get out when the shooting does start. So you might have to just like stay there until it's all done, right?
Until it's all done, right? Yeah. Okay. I think Paloma would prefer that, to be honest, just because at least, like, even if she's
hide in a closet
can't
somewhere
get
until
out,
it's all
at
over.
least she's hidden.
Yeah.
You know, and like I can figure out how to get out later.
Wait, I just realized we missed our William cameo.
Here you go. There he is. All cozied up in bed. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, even though
hidden.
that sucks, like I feel like it would be better for me, like to get the shot off. So you're basically saying, like, if like assuming the shot hits and it works,
no one's gonna know that you did it.
Nobody's gonna know that I did it,
or where you are. Yeah.
Even if I fail because of this roll, or
you'll be in a better position to make another roll to hide, right? Like, so yeah, okay. I think if you fail like the shot, it would probably be they wouldn't know where it came from, but they wouldn't automatically assume, like they would be like, third party is shooting us. The marshals are here, not Gideon, right? Something like that.
Right. Something. Okay.
Because what we want to happen, right, is set up a firefight between the two parties.
They think the marshals are here. They take Gideon as a hostage.
Right. Cool. Okay. So Paloma, we see her sneak in to the casino, right? We see all the activity happening. And maybe there's like, just for tension's sake, there's a tense moment where she stops at like right next to like a potted plant, right? And doesn't keep going and like presses herself up against the wall and just kind of like goes like this, kind of rubbing her face, like trying to like maybe has a Newsies hat or something on, like, don't look at me. And we see Gideon walk by her, right? Like kind of like angrily stomping like past her to like go talk to the mob boss that you see at like the far table, right? Like surrounded by his goons. And then you just like, okay, he's gone, and you just keep going, go up some stairs or on like a balcony that's like really secluded. Sometimes people have like secret meetings over here, but no one's using it right now and won't use it for the night. And kind of this shadowed alcove, and you just like take out your pistol and wait for the right moment to strike. And yeah, we see Gideon stomp up, and you hear muffled yelling that you can't really make out the specific words of. But right, we get into a position where I think you do hear like the loud statement of Gideon saying, "So you're screwing me over then, eh? Is that how it is?" And then the mob boss just like stands up and has his two goons like framing him, and he says, "Gideon, I didn't want it to go this way either, but I am left with no choice. Someone ratted us out to the marshals, and now everything's screwed. It's the way it is. Take it or leave it." And Gideon says,
Would you be mad at him for like someone keep ratting them out or something like that?
Yeah, it seems like he is, but like he's like, okay, business is business, oh well. But I think Gideon says, "No, you don't understand. You don't understand." He's like holding up his like injured hand. Someone has it out for me. Someone has been, from the very beginning, I'm about to lose very lucrative promotion over this. And it's all Lionel's fault. And the mob boss is just like, "I don't know who this Lionel fellow is. So I think you're going to have to take it up with him." And there's a moment here that you can see, Paloma, where Gideon's thinking about like just snapping. And now might be a good time to like just set off the dominoes.
Yeah.
Who do you shoot?
He did say like I'm about to lose a very important promotion.
Yeah.
Who
do you shoot?
That's a good question. Do I
right,
go
because
for
there's like a couple of ladies on his arm or around the table or whatever, right, blowing up people's dice. There's his goons. There's a couple of sycophants, and then there's him, the mob boss himself, and then Gideon.
Go for the side of the mob boss where his pistol is. So if his pistol's on his left, then shoot just to the left of the mob boss. If it's on his right, shoot just to the right. And see if you can either A, graze the mob boss, B, hit one of the girls, or C, hit one of the goons.
So graze the mob boss, but actually hit one of the goons, kind of a thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Paloma's a good enough shot; she might be able to pull that off, but that might make it more complicated, though.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here is your main goal is to start a firefight. That's the actual intent of the roll. I was mainly asking for flavor purposes, right? Like, I don't know if it is going to change the roll per se.
Okay.
The only way it would change it if you decided to shoot Gideon or the mob boss, like, to kill. That would be a different thing.
Think so.
Yeah, I assume you're not.
I think probably one of the goons. I don't think the guy cares about the girls, honestly.
Probably
not. Probably one of the goons is probably what I'd go for. And I'll go with Jordan's suggestion. Probably Paloma would be smart about it and be like, go with the direction that the gun is in or whatever. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So I think, good.
I was going to say, would she get a bonus die from the light?
Oh, right. You gave her some light. Sure.
Would I have to take stress for that?
I don't think you have to take stress. You marked off it on your sheet, right?
I'll mark it right now.
Yeah.
Vials of light.
I think as long as Paloma's taken some, then she can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've taken a couple already. Why not?
Like, and we need this done.
I'm thinking it'll be right. It's controlled, obviously, but I think it's going to be great. But that goes down to standard because of your wounds, right?
Okay.
You're a little shaky still because of all your wounds.
So I have my fine pair of pistols and then armor-piercing ammunition.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, makes sense. They probably have something that would be bullet resistant.
Right. Okay. I guess there's nothing left for me to do other than to hunt.
Any way to get more bonus die?
I could take 2 stress, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Or devil's bargain.
Yeah. Complications are double complications is worse than one complication.
Is there?
It just really depends on if you care about, because there can be unrelated complications, right?
Is there some sort of clockwork device that I could have given her that she can augment her gun with that's going to either help with aim or that would help with like
a silencer maybe?
Oh.
So Jordan, did you ever mark like what your design was, the free design you get, or did we never? We haven't done that yet. Maybe we just say you invented silencers or whatever, right?
I was gonna say a stabilizer,
or that, whatever is fine. Just. But it might make sense if we decide right now, like whatever this design is what you're giving Paloma.
Yeah. So which is the design? Is it also? Do I just add that to my gear?
Yeah, you can just mark it off on your gear. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, what would be more helpful, I guess?
Well, I guess it depends, right? Because I don't know if a silencer would necessarily be good in this case because we
Yeah.
want them to hear the bang.
True.
Right?
So stabilizer makes sense then.
A stabilizer.
I think
pistol stabilizer.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that like my ability already allows me to push myself to make a ranged attack at extreme distances beyond what's normal for the weapon.
What if it's something that allows the bullet to curve? I know that's ridiculous, but
it's clockwork. Yeah. It can bend the rules a little bit.
Wait, does your ability help give you any bonus dice?
It doesn't say it does.
No, it just allows fictional positioning.
It just allows
right.
me to be further away. So I probably am. Right, I'm like as far as ways,
especially with a pistol, right? Like,
right.
No other person would be able to make the shot at this distance.
Okay, fair enough.
Right,
you're just a crack shot.
Yeah.
A bendy bullet. I gave her a bendy bullet.
Sure, that sounds fun, right? Like
an aimer.
Well, I think like something you can literally curve around things, right? So like,
what was that movie?
Salt maybe is what it.
No, it was a movie. The whole shtick with the movie was like they would like
exactly. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but
and like I think it was MythBusters did a whole thing.
I'm looking it up right now.
It was completely and totally made up. Like it could not happen.
Wanted.
Yeah. Gun fu.
Classic 2000s gun fu.
So, let's. Are you done with that like clockwork device that allows you to like shoot bullets around corners and things?
I mean, that's fine with me as long as that's okay with Jordan using like his thing on that.
Would it? My question is, would that actually help? Would that give a bonus die?
Well, because then she can make it seem like it's coming from a direction that she's not at, and more likely like, oh, there is a person. Because then wherever it's coming from, quote unquote, that's where the person's going to shoot. Right, the goons. So they'll just be like, "Oh, and then point like some random person in the casino who they think looks suspicious. They'll just be like, "Ah!" And then everybody's shooting at each other.
That's true. It will look less like it was coming from her.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's probably like a little device that sits in like the back of the gun that like you pull left or right or whatever direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, I would assume, like the same physics as trying to do a curveball in baseball, right? However you would translate that with a bullet, which you can't do in real life, obviously, but with clockwork you can. So,
okay, so
prophetic journals also don't exist.
Exactly.
So I have +2 then, one from the light, one from the clockwork.
I think so. Yep.
Okay, and let's see. We said it
controlled
was controlled.
I don't even have to take stress for that, do I?
Nope.
So I did the light.
Yeah, just gear.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, 5. So let's see. Complication. What do we think?
Why does 5 have to be a bad roll?
I don't understand. Yeah, I know. I don't get that either, but that's okay.
5 should be a good thing.
The thing 5 is you did it, right? It happens. It's just that there's something else that also happens that's not as good for you. Right, because like where you got the 5 on or the 4 on the tip, right? It's just that it's slightly different than you thought. It doesn't happen the way you wanted it to. There's some other thing that's happening now too. Let's see. I'm just taking a look at Hunt. What it says here.
She accidentally shoots a puppy.
Yeah. So the thing is, you are controlled here, right? So there's not as much chance of something really happening. Let's see.
I have a thought.
Okay, so your intent was to start a firefight that will leave Gideon dead, primarily, right? Like it's the main thing. So I'll just
any other
say,
collateral damage is just what.
I'll say this then. I'll say this. I think what happens is, the firefight starts right. You aim the bullet perfectly. Everyone starts shooting at each other. There's a brief bloody massacre, and Gideon is on the ground, severely wounded. And
perfect for Jordan.
The goon and the mob boss like step over, and like the one that you didn't shoot, right? They're shaking their heads, and the mob boss just looks down. Now, everyone's scattering out of the casino. The ladies are screaming and moving away. And very shortly, it's quiet enough you can like hear them clearly from across from where you are hiding. And the mob boss just says, "Now, why'd you do that, Gideon? We could have worked something out." And Gideon's just like clutching his chest, like coughing up blood. And he's like, "I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. You were set up." And the mob boss just frowns. He's like, "What do you mean?" And he takes a gun from one of his goons, points it at Gideon. He's like, "You tell the truth now, Copper. You saying that someone wanted who? Who dead? What do they gain out of this?" And he's like, "I've told you, it's Lionel. Yeah, he wants me dead. He wants to cut me open. He wants to take off all of my fingers one by one."
He's not wrong.
And the mob boss is just frowning. He's like, "Who's this Lionel fella?" And Gideon says, "Just sick man. Doctor," he calls himself. He's no doctor. He doesn't deal in health and life. He deals in death. And he's coming for you next. He's coming for you next. Does Paloma do anything here, or does?
Well, that depends. What is the mob? Because here's the thing. Here's what I'm curious about. Like,
because it seems like the mob boss is starting to believe him, right? Because he's like, Gideon wouldn't be stupid enough to try to shoot us all. Like, he knows he's gonna die. Like, okay, there's gonna be something to this. Who's this Lionel fella? So now the question is, right? Just because basically, the complication actually is Gideon's going to be gone, right? No matter if he's going to die from this wound, whether or not the guy shoots him in the face, right? The question is now, does this King's Ransom mob boss learn about this Lionel fellow? And maybe he's not trying to kill Lionel, but maybe he just wants to have a meeting with him. There will be some complication. They'll look into this whole thing afterwards.
Right.
It just depends on whether or not Paloma cares to stop that in progress or not. Because you could like pop the mob boss in the head, and okay, well, that's taken care of. You'll have to, run out, but
so like I can like from like the balcony kind of like see some of this, I'm assuming. And...
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like behind a plant, I think, right?
Question. So yeah, that's a good question.
The other thing is, if we do take down a higher ranking group, isn't that good for us?
It is, yeah. The issue would be whether or not people know that it was you, right? That's the thing that gives you rep.
I have a thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we also don't want them to know it's us, because then then the marshals are gonna know that this was all,
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any faction that this faction is in tension with, besides obviously maybe the marshals?
King's Ransom. That they were what with?
Okay, so which faction are we dealing with right now that we're
the
King's Ransom, the illegal gambling ring?
Okay, so King's Ransom. Who is King's Ransom against?
I don't know. We can make that up now. That's probably a roll if you want to know it.
See, here's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Flashback. Turns out King's Ransom has some tensions with a different faction, and we point all of the blame. Like, we leave a card or something, whatever this other faction's calling card is, and courtesy of whatever. And we make it seem like it was them all along that set this whole thing up.
Mm-hmm.
And clear our names in the process.
Yep, That's what happened.
Because we
This
pushed the
wouldn't
blame
clear
to
our
someone
names
else.
for our crimes, though.
Not the wanted.
No, but it would prevent
Oh,
us from.
but it would basically be like, oh, Gideon doesn't know what he's talking about. It was these guys.
these guys instead. Yeah.
He was just crazy.
Yeah, he's obsessed with this one random dude, but it's probably not him. Yeah.
I actually really like that idea.
Okay.
Essentially, like
do a
leave something on the.
flashback. I mean,
Yeah, let's have you roll it. I will say I think we'll have this be a 1 stress flashback, so you will have to take 1 stress to make the roll. And yeah, otherwise I think study makes sense, right?
Why does it have to be stressed for a flashback?
So you either have to spend 0, 1, or 2 stress for flashbacks, and it basically depends on how likely this is that you would have done this, because the idea originally, right, was that you wouldn't need to have done this because he would be dead. The only, that's why you have to take stress, is be like,
this is like
we thought extra hard and had a
plan.
contingency.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a 0 stress flashback would be like, oh, obviously we would have thought of this, right?
Yeah. So risky or desperate?
Controlled still, isn't it?
Controlled?
It depends. Yeah, we'll stay still controlled and be standard.
Controlled standard?
Yeah.
Any bonus die?
Depends on if anyone was helping you.
What are you trying to do exactly?
Basically know who the King's Ransom's enemies are.
I could give you a die thing. Yeah, for like doing survey.
Yep.
We could
You also have a spy contact.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, Ross could probably tell you. So would I have to take stress for that, or okay? So either way, it doesn't matter. I think I feel safe taking 1 stress.
So that's 1 bonus die?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Would I be able to help with my sway?
Yeah. I mean, if you basically just take a stress to say I was helping talk around.
I'm getting high up there, but we need this to go well.
Yeah.
What about who's the guy that hooked us up with a new base?
Huxley.
Hawksley. Would Hawksley have any idea?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
This is a bit outside his realm.
Okay.
All right, 2 bonus die.
2 it is.
Go for it. All right, still partial. So yeah, I think it would probably be like, they obviously have some enemies, but it probably would be okay. Let's say this. I think this is that they're enemies with actually, who makes sense to be enemies with a gambling ring, actually?
Let's see.
People who want the turf.
That's also like a tier 2.
Yeah, it would be someone who's like tier 2, maybe the Cantrell sisters. Okay, so
does it have to be Underworld, or can it be?
It doesn't have to be. I think the Cantrell sisters might make the most sense because they are. No, maybe not. Okay, so my idea here, right, is whoever this enemy is, whoever this faction is, you successfully manage to blame them for it, but they still assume that Lionel is an important name. They just think that Lionel, whoever this Lionel is working for that faction. So they're gonna dicker around, right, for a long time with that other faction being like, who's this Lionel guy that works for this faction, and not have no idea who you guys are. Maybe eventually figure out the Lionel has nothing to do with that faction and maybe try to look into it. But at that point,
or maybe we'll luck out and there's a high up guy in that faction
actually
that's
named Lionel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out like who would make sense if given the description that Gideon has given him so far of who this Lionel guy is, what kind of faction?
The doctor.
Yeah, exactly. A doctor.
Well, does any of the
but also in a faction that would be enemies with the gambling ring, right?
What about the Mormon-y ones?
So the Kingdom of God is a tier 3.
They would be against gambling.
Probably, yeah.
That might be the whole thing.
You have to use drugs to decide your fate, not dice.
We're doing both!
You have to gamble with your health, not with dice or cards.
Okay, because my other idea would have been the First Cause. The First Cause is a tier 2 cult that worships clockwork. And they also might have something against gambling per se, right? Because of like the machines are our overlords, we should not tempt fate. Like the The machines are the only ones who can tell us what our futures are.
They don't want to believe in chance.
Yeah.
They want to believe in order.
Yes, exactly. That's actually their whole thing. They call the robots, like the clockwork automatons, are the first cause, right? They are the first cause of the universe. They're the ones who set everything spinning. The whole universe is a giant clockwork thing. We're the second causes, right? We're the people who are just following their machines. So let's do that one. I like that one because I think that's a likely candidate for the description they gave too, right? This kind of doctor who also had a clockwork device and that sort of stuff. Cool. So I think that's what happens, right? Is you have set this up, and the first cause is the person they've had trouble with in the past for whatever reason.
Could we say like the way, I don't know if we'd have to roll for it, but could we say the way we do it is we throw in a piece of clockwork gets thrown through the window that says courtesy of the first cause. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say like I have the ability to forge things.
Does Alyssa just leave her curving bullet thing at the scene of the crime?
This is courtesy of the first cause.
Well, it's clockwork, right?
Right, that's what I was thinking, was like leave some kind of clockwork thing behind, but I don't know if I want to leave my curve thing. That's really handy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I was going to say, I probably gave you something to leave behind.
Yeah.
Even if it's like literally a physical card.
That's clockwork.
So, I was going to say, the automatons themselves function off of these like playing card size little pieces of clockwork that get slotted into their backs. So just having one of those for whatever, it's probably useless, right? It's probably one that doesn't work, but just like being like, haha, calling card, literally.
Right. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
So we have that. So now my thing is I have to get out, right?
Yes.
That's the
only thing. Okay. So basically, right. Gideon is just like going off about Lionel, and the mob boss is just like, as he's like gurgling on his own blood and slowly dying, he just turns to one of the goons and just says, "Sounds like the first cause to me. Look into that name, Lionel." And then they just nod and kind of like, he just like gestures, "Someone take care of that body. Dump it in the canal for
me." Okay, so what would this be? Just like another like
I think another prowl, right? Yeah.
Could she still have a bonus die from the light?
Sure.
I imagine this all happened very quickly in light.
Yeah. This will probably be the last thing she can get a dice with for that. But yeah.
Okay. The last thing we need a dice for.
Mm-hmm. In theory, unless she fails.
Hopefully.
I feel like I really want to make sure I get out of here. I'm gonna take 2 stress myself.
Sounds good.
So +2. So controlled?
I don't think so. I think we passed controlled. You guys have gotten enough partial successes. It's just not a controlled situation, even though
especially with my partial success.
Yeah.
Time.
So I think it's gonna be just risky standard.
Okay.
But 2 bonus dice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
hey, there you go, 6. Very good.
I'm so glad I took that stress.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. So, I think probably what we see, right, is as they're like cleaning up, right, all the goons, you just kind of like walk down with your Newsy's cap and you help. Maybe you even help the goon like drag the body out, and they just think you're working for him, right?
You do that, and then you go tell him where the body is, so he can.
I think so. Yeah, right. With a 6.
Well, no, but they have to find the body, though, right? Like that's the whole idea.
That's true. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
The police need to find the body before you can get it.
Because I'm sure they'll hear the rumors, especially with one of them working for them now.
What it's probably going to be is...
Gideon was collateral damage. You think you can just, take care of that?
What it probably is, what if my other identity is that I work in the morgue?
That'd be a roll. Well, you have a rival. With a corpse thief, you could make a roll.
Well, he's dead. No. Seth's is dead.
Yes, your corpse thief is still alive.
Yeah.
So he's a rival, but he could be convinced to help you, right? That seems like the most obvious way to do it. Is like, you drag the body out, dump it in the canal. Paloma steals off into the night, and then we hear, we see a newspaper spin into the screen, right? And it's like, body of Marshall found in canal. And then, they bury it in a grave, and now Jordan has to like get the body if he wants it. So you can have Clancy swam for you, right? Because he's actually good at that.
And he doesn't have to know that it's for me.
That's true. You would know the name, and you could give Clancy the information he needs to like make the contact and stuff. Does that make sense, Seth?
Yeah.
You just show up at the cemetery. You show up at the cemetery and you ask he's probably a grave digger who also steals bodies for people on request, right, for extra money, or steals things from bodies or whatever he needs to do. He's a corrupt grave digger. So like talking to him and being like, I need to get access to the body of this marshal. Like,
what would this role be?
Sway, I think.
Would it be no, but like controlled, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Controlled standard seems.
Yeah, there's not much risk to you, right? This isn't Jordan asking for it, which would be he'd be less likely to comply. Let's go with controlled standard.
Okay.
So if you fail, you just have to be like, okay, got to find some other way to get it.
Okay. 0 bonus die, 'cause I'm pretty stressed already. 4.
Okay. I think he says, I can let you at the body, but I can't let you take it. There's a candlelight vigil being held soon, and you know how those marshals are with their grave sites. They see anything suspicious, they're gonna start asking questions, and I'm gonna be the one to blame. They dig up that body and he's not there.
Can we do it after the vigil?
After the vigil, they trying to think of some other complication of that.
After the vigil, it goes down for good, and they put cement over it.
Right, I was thinking like something along those lines, where like they do some ritual, or there's not like
he doesn't steal, but he steals
magic,
bodies before they go down, not after. He buries empty. He likes to bury empty ones, not dig them up when they're already buried.
Let's just say that. Let's just say this. Let's say he says, right, like, if you'd gotten to me sooner, then I could have done something for you, but the body's already done and buried. I could maybe dig up something and take something on this corpse, but I don't think I want to risk that either. Freshly disturbed earth, it's a no-no. There's gonna be he had a family, and there's gonna be people coming here, for a little while still, dropping off flowers and stuff.
Well, I guess getting to the body for a little bit is at least something. Okay, I guess that'll have to do.
That doesn't make sense.
So that's partial success, right?
No. I'm trying to, because if he, this is the issue that so I think he can't dig up the body at all, because if he digs up the body,
it's not buried yet. There's a candlelight vigil. He's still up.
Yes.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yes. Okay. That is what I was gonna change it to. I was thinking of something different in my mind, but I think that's what it is. Right? Is that the body won't be like you'll be able to take something from it during the candlelight vigil or shortly after, but shortly after. Okay. Let's put it this way. If you guys can pull off some way to steal the corpse in plain sight or near to it, right after the candlelight vigil, before they put the body in the ground, you'll have like a very short window where everyone's like moving away from the body and then coming back because there's some religious ritual or whatever they have to do, that you could take it, but it's not going to be an easy thing to accomplish to get the whole body. Is
it the kind of thing where it could at least have access to the body for a little bit, not necessarily take the whole thing?
Yes, that would be easier to accomplish. It really just depends on what Jordan wants to do, or Lionel wants.
I assume he just wanted to cut him up a little bit. He doesn't necessarily have to take it, and he could just
up to you.
What
do you want?
I want his hand.
Just his hand, okay.
I could probably get you a hand.
Yeah. That seems a little bit more doable, right?
Let's give him a hand.
It's like Lionel will settle for the hand. The hand that the fingers are missing from.
Right. You could set up something more elaborate, right? And try to steal the body wholesale or replace it with another body before they bury it, like something like that. But that would be a more involved thing.
No, I will use his hand to distress.
Sounds good. Okay, so we just need someone to make a prowl roll, right, to sneak his hand out, right, to quickly cut off his hand and sneak it out. It seems like it might be a Paloma thing.
Paloma has no interest in doing this at all. I'm not gonna lie. She's like, if you want the hand, you go get the hand yourself. I'm not gonna. Sorry, I'm like, no.
It seems like Paloma's.
She's like, I don't cut off people's hands. I have standards. I shoot them.
Not even that. She's just like, I'm not, sticking out my neck to go get this, like this risky thing. I have no interest in sticking my neck out to go get a hand.
Here's my question. Do we really have to roll prowl? He said he could get us access to it.
So the issue is not getting access to the body. It's getting away with the hand without anyone seeing that you have a hand on you.
Just hold it. Hold it like this. Like, I got my hand.
Right, but again, like it's not gonna be like a super difficult roll or anything, but there is a roll.
It's also the hand that is missing 2 fingers already. So
I got something. Oh wait, no, it's covered in stuff. I have a hand I use for one of my puppets, and it's unfortunately under a bunch of boxes over there, so I can't grab it out of its case.
So would Lionel or Clancy like to make a roll to get the hand, or no?
I have no problem.
Neither do I, so it might as well be me.
Sorry. I'm just like, I just had 0.
No, I could give you Paloma has more standards than you guys do. It makes sense.
I'll give you a vial of light to give you a bonus.
No,
die.
I don't care.
No. I'm giving Clancy. I'm giving him a vial of light.
We're not asking you to do it. Calm down.
Sorry. I'm just
It's gross, yeah. I don't know if him being jacked up on light makes this easier, right? He would be twitchy as he left then, right?
I thought we would give you
because this is the thing. Prowl, yes, but this prowl is about like inconspicuous. It's blending into the crowd. I don't think being jacked up on drugs makes that easier to do.
Didn't I give Paloma a vial of light when she was sneaking into the one place though?
Yes, but there was like kind of a half and half situation there where she was actually hiding and being inconspicuous. Like there was actual physical stealth involved.
So risky standard or what?
This is gonna go horribly.
Yeah,
I think risky standard.
So my question is, what's the risk here? Because
he needs to de-stress.
My character is literally obsessed. That's his trauma.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with this character. I have to do this. It's my character. Yeah. I'm not doing this because I want to do this for flavor or anything. I'm doing this because this is literally what my character would do.
Yeah. Okay, fair. But Paloma is cold, so she's just, oh my gosh, what the heck?
Unfortunately, you had to take the lower, right?
Oh, dang.
Yes.
No.
So here's the question then. Who sees Lionel do this?
I have an idea, but I don't want to say it.
The mob boss?
Well, I was going to say...
supposed to say it!
Well, I was gonna say either that or the mortician himself, because they're enemies, and he's like, "This is for you."
Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that's the one that doesn't immediately lead to you being arrested too. So I like that option.
The mortician's like, "Wait a second, this is for you."
Okay. So Seth is just holding up a hand. So Jordan, Lionel, you know. You're at the candlelight vigil. You have like a hat on, so you're like not as obvious, right? You're passing by like everyone is, like passing by the coffin, and the person behind you is like talking to the person behind them, so they're not immediately looking at you. And you have a moment there, and you just like quickly grab like a knife, cut off his hand, and like try to stuff it in a bag, and you like start to shuffle away, and then your hand grabs your arm and get turned around, then it's what is it? Eckerd is his name. Is that what his name is?
Yeah, Eckerd.
Yeah. So Eckerd turns you around. He's like a kind of raggedy looking dude with long black hair, and he just says, "It was you? You needed the body?" And he's like saying this not loud enough that everyone around is hearing it, but like it could escalate into more people notice. But there's a moment here where it's just you and him.
Yeah, I don't think he wants it to escalate like
Probably
that.
not, but yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, I think Lionel just says, "What can I say? We both know you're good at what you do."
Sniffs. Like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I'm gonna tell the cops. I'm gonna tell the marshals. He starts to like turn away.
Oh man, this is when I wish I had a luck roll to see if I had anything on him. Just like, you tell the marshals that I'll tell them about the thing.
You know he's a body. You know he's a
You already know. Yeah, you already know he's a corpse thief.
Okay, it's like,
yeah.
Okay, then like, yeah, I guess Lionel's like, and you're gonna explain to them how you tried to help me steal a body?
No, I'm gonna pretend like I had nothing to do with it, and I just saw you take the hand, obviously. You don't have anything on me, Lionel.
And
you could probably make some sort of roll to convince them that you do, right?
Yeah, like the friend who's came had a wire on him. Maybe not that necessarily, but something like that.
Yeah.
What is consort again?
Consort is like having friends. So it's like, do I have a contact? So you could probably roll that in the situation to be like, I already have like someone, either another cemetery worker or a copper or something that I have poised to drop on you if you turn me in.
So basically, like, I have eyes on you.
Yeah.
so yeah. Lionel's like, how do you think I found you so easy, Eckerd? I have eyes on you all the time. So do I actually roll consort?
Yeah. Go.
Okay. Risky?
So I'm thinking it's risky limited. Because even if you do succeed on this, like, consort is more that, like, you can still roll it, but consort is kind of like periphery to the roll. You like, if you had command or sway, that's way better of an option for you. If you succeed on this, you'll still kind of get what you want, but it will be like a
maybe like it's that I'm name dropping.
Yeah, and then basically you've lost access to the contact, at least for purposes of watching him. But at least now he'll back off, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Bonus die? Probably not.
Unless you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain.
Well, I can't push myself. I only have one stress left.
True.
That's why I need this hand, people.
All right, go for it.
Yep.
Hey, there you go.
Oh.
Okay, so I think basically...
Yeah, maybe the complication is that I just can't use that contact to keep track of him anymore.
I'm not even sure who that was, because you don't have... Oh, right, because I guess this would be, the idea would be you consort it to have a contact, and it's a brief enough contact that you used him for this and can never use him again. That makes sense. And I think the idea is that Eckerd is also more of an enemy than a rival at this point, right? He was just rivals with you before because you kind of had the same idea about things and you got him into trouble in the past or so. But now he's like your enemy, and he's looking for a way to like get back at you for this. And will probably come up again at some point in the future. So, but yeah, I think you managed to pull it off. You walk away with the hand.
Yeah, you managed to pull it off. The hand.
Very true.
Let's give him a hand.
We'll go ahead and delete this Gideon's investigation clock. And now we can move on to the latter part of the stuff. The score is completed. Okay, let's take a look.
That was stressful.
It was, but hey, you know, things are looking up for you guys.
I think that was our most successful one.
I think
besides getting all the light, maybe. I guess
the first one was definitely very successful.
The thing is, though, this score still didn't net us any coin.
So after the score, the PCs take stock of their income from the operation. A successful score generates both rep and coin. So it doesn't matter. It says in the book here, GM, definitely don't screw around with the players when it comes to the payoff. Don't say that the client lied and there's no reward, or that the meeting for the payment is actually a trap or whatever. These type of things are staples of crime fiction, but in Blades, the PCs have enough problems coming at them from every direction already. When it comes to getting paid, just give them what they earn. So it's not like in the middle of the job, complications happen. But once you get to the end of the job and you were successful, you just get money. Like
I'm just not sure where we'd get the coin from.
Good question.
I don't know.
I can sell his remaining fingerprints on the black market.
Maybe I took some money on my way out.
I think so. That makes the most sense, right? Like
you robbed some of the bodies that got.
You robbed Gideon's body, right? You managed to pickpocket something else from. I mean, you were
right.
You had run of the place for a little while there. You probably just like snatched a couple things off things, right? That makes sense to me. Okay, so the crew earns 2 rep per score by default. If the target of the score is higher tier, then you take +1 rep per tier higher. If you keep the operation completely quiet so no one knows about it, you earn 0 rep. Mark the rep on the. So I don't think you kept it completely quiet, right? I think you did earn rep, but the marshals don't know about it, right?
The name
Lionel
got buried. Yeah, and then Eckert obviously knows that stuff was happening. So I think rep still happens, which is good for you, obviously. So you get 2, and then you were doing this against the marshals. So they're tier 3. So I guess you get 5 rep.
Nice.
So congrats.
We also took out some of the. Well, no, they don't know we affected them though.
Is somebody marking that off on our sheet?
Oh no, I have it closed.
No, I was just curious. I'll do it. I just wanted.
Okay.
Sure. 5. Ooh, wow! That gets us up. We got 3, and then so what happens when we get all the way up?
Yeah, so when you get all the way up for rep, let's take a look.
And then we get 2 extra.
Yep.
On the other side.
It says turf.
Yeah, I think that's a separate thing.
Okay.
That's a whole separate thing in the game. Factions. Where's the factions section?
Is it that we get extra turf? Is that what it is?
It might be something like that.
Because that's what it looks like. It looks like because we have a layer, and then we get a turf box.
Oh, yeah.
Is the rep box different from the? Is there rep boxes and there turf boxes? Are those 2 separate things?
It might just be saying you get turf when you get to the end of the rep, right? That might be what it's saying.
So here, so you see that middle box? It says layer, and then there's like one. Like boxes around it.
I just don't know exactly how that one works. I'm trying to find.
Is it that we get one of the 4 boxes around layer? Is that what it is?
I believe so. Here we go. Okay, 44. Here we go. Oh, no. Okay, so turf, basically, if you have turf, like if you get, and I don't know how to get it, I'll look real quick, but basically, if the amount of turf you have limits the amount that you need. So I'm just marked it like that. See on the top. Basically, if you had 2 turf, then you only need up to those black lines to advance. Right? Having more turf makes it easier to advance, is the idea.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
So to get turf,
I'm guessing we just grab.
Okay, to move up the ladder and develop your crew, you need rep. When you complete a score, blah, 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 blah. You need 12 rep to fill the rep track. If your hold is weak, it becomes strong. It's currently strong, I think. It might have been weak before, but I think it's strong.
It's strong currently.
If your hold is strong, yeah, it would have been strong before, I think. So if your hold is strong, you can pay to increase your crew tier by 1. This costs coin equal to your new tier times 8. So it'd be 9 for you guys. That's a lot of coin.
That's a lot of coin. I don't think we even have that much coin.
We have 2.
What does it mean if you can't do that, though?
We just stay at tier 1.
But then what? Does our rep stay maxed then?
Oh, here you go. As long as your rep tracker is full, you don't earn new rep. Once you pay and increase your tier, reset your. So you can't reset it until. So go put it all the way to the
Put it
max.
all the way up.
And basically, until you get that coin, it's gonna stay there.
Well, how much coin do we get?
Yeah, that'll be the question. So you get, I think, standard score for this one. No, I mean it's probably a small job. Given the fictional possibilities, right? So that'll be 4 coin. You have 2 coin in the vault right now. Does anyone else have any coin?
I have 1 on my person.
So that's 7.
I have 1.
And Paloma has 2. Yeah, you guys have 9. You have 10, actually. Do you want to spend 9 to increase your tier?
What's the benefit of that?
So, increasing your tier.
Because here's the thing: if we advance right away, we can't pay off our people.
Right.
Tier is basically a measure of your wealth, influence, and scale. You'll use your tier rating to roll dice when you acquire an asset, as well as for any fortune roll for which your crew's overall power level and influence is the primary trait. Most importantly, your tier determines the quality level of your items, as well as the quality and scale of the gangs your crew employs, and thereby what size of enemy you can expect to handle. This will also matter because you'll be able to take on higher tiers easier. They'll have less bonus against you and stuff, right?
The thing is, how much do we have to pay to our over people?
That does, yes, that's true. Subtract coin equal to your crew tier plus 1. But if you can do that before you spend your rep, so you can pay the 1, right? Because you're 0 right now. Pay the 1, and then spend all the rest of your coins, and you can upgrade. So you have 10.
How do we get the turf and everything? How is that a different thing?
It is a different thing.
I would honestly rather not upgrade yet and wait until we have a little bit more in case we have more really bad jobs and bad jobs and bad jobs.
That was my thought process, because currently if we do that, we're broke.
So it would either be that we have to get the next job and get a payment, or we're done for, basically.
Right.
That was my worry as well.
I mean, I'm fine.
Kind of like my status with loans.
See,
oh, that sucks, Jordan.
It's okay. I have until June, until they open the floodgates of people paying back again.
So basically, I think the idea is that if you look at that map there, that Alyssa pointed out earlier, those are just things that you can try to get as a job, as a mission, right? And if you do it, then it gives you the benefit listed there. And if it's turf, then you mark the thing that I mentioned earlier about make it easier to upgrade. So that's just like another thing you can do to get concrete job stuff and expand your influence.
We have to our job is to get more turf. That's what we have to say.
Basically, that would be a score, right? So, for example, you're like, we need to get surplus caches, right?
So how does that work then with the other parts, where it says local graft? Is that just like because those are like benefits that we get? That's part of
So
like, this
so the
whole
idea
thing.
is once you finish the score and get it, then you acquire the claim, and you get that benefit as long as you control it. And the idea here is because you're a starting gang, you're taking these from other gangs, right? You're like acquiring turf from them. But yeah, I will give you that bonus, right? So for example, if you get the surplus caches, +2 coin for product sale or supply every time you do a sale, right? You get +2 coin. So
the problem with that is we'd have to get a sale, and we're very bad at that.
True.
So I guess that's my question, right? Was like one of our sales that we attempted to do in the past, like if we had been successful at that, would we have gotten the surplus caches, or do we have to say like our specific intent is like we're trying to do a job?
I think there's
like I guess I'm confused.
I think there's reasonable. I think it does say I'm not on the page anymore, but I think it does imply that if it makes sense, if like that you realize at the end of the score that's what we were doing all along, that you can just mark it. But most of the time we'd probably be looking at that specifically and being like, this is what we want to get next. But if it happens naturally, like for example, if you guys just happen to do a job and by the end of it you acquired some turf,
right?
It just made sense to say, oh, you.
So
got
like
some.
if I had killed the mob boss, we could have maybe made an argument for turf.
Yeah, like if you had managed to actually take down like a whole faction, like for example, the Vengeance or whatever, right? Then you could have just like say, hey, we take over their stuff, right? And,
right, like when we were taking over trying to do the Dead Eyes.
Yep. That makes sense. But I don't think it's happened yet for any of this stuff. So.
Right. No, none of this has happened for us yet because we failed at every score except the first one.
Cool. All right. So heat. Oh, actually, one thing we need to just consider is, can you actually carry all the money that you have? Because if you can't, it makes sense to just spend to upgrade, right? So if you mark, so 4 coin total can go in the vault. So that's 2 off of the 4 that you got. And then someone needs to, 2 more need to be marked somewhere. And then I guess 1 needs to be taken off though, because I need to pay the gilded purse.
I can mark 1.
I have 2 more.
I have 3 open spots, and then I could also take 1 off.
So I was gonna say honestly, so 1 person just needs to mark 1, and then that other 1 goes away into the ether to pay the.
Who will that be? Who wants to do it?
Wait. How many did we get?
I already marked them off. You got 4. You had 2 coins in your vault already in like the faction vault. I just added 2 more. It's at max now. And then there's technically only 1 more coin that needs to go somewhere because the 4th coin is a tithe.
Then Jordan, why don't you take it? Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan, you take it.
And I'll have 2.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can spend that whenever. Or I think you might have to spend it after a job, but so. All right, heat. It was a pretty contained job, but not like smooth and quiet per se, right? Like there was a little bit of friction that happened. So that's 2 heat. So if you want to add that to the faction heat. Let's see, +1 heat for a high profile or well connected target.
Is anybody adding your heat? Sorry.
I can do it. Give me a second. Okay, so 1 heat you said?
2 heat to start off with.
2 heat. Okay.
He's not a high profile or well connected target, not that much of a well connected target. +1 heat if the situation happened on hostile turf. Yes. Right, you did it on the King's Ransom's turf. So +1 more.
Okay.
Add +1 if you're at war with another faction. Are you still at war with one of them?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, you're still at war with the Dead Eyes, so yeah. So another heat there. Yeah, you have to take them out at some point. And then add +2 heat if killing was involved.
So we just went up a whole nother wanted level. What the heck?
Amazing.
Oh my god.
We were trying to decrease our wanted level and increased it.
So again, you need to frame someone very quickly for this.
Well, for this job, we did.
No, you didn't frame someone for your crimes.
Well, I know, but for this job in particular, this crime, we did frame the other faction for doing it.
That's true, but no one went to prison. Right? And
then we got to get the other faction to go to prison. Let's just go.
Honestly, that might be the next step. Is go to the Dead Eyes. And
we need to make this fictional Lionel in this faction.
Yeah, you're taking. We're taking you down.
Because think about it, that actually would take care of our problems. Because if we somehow make Lionel in this faction, then they're going to be like, oh, it was that Lionel actually all along that did these crimes.
That's true. You could try to do 3 birds with 1 stone, right? Imprison some of your crimes, get rid of the faction you're at war against, and also, well, I don't know if you actually need to make the Lionel connection because they're already going after the first cause, which is a secondary thing, right? Like they're not onto you at all.
No. I wasn't saying going after the Deadeyes, although that's a good idea, but just like
going after the King's
Ransom. My idea was the King's like planting some kind of like Lionel person in the other faction somehow, and then them being like, oh, it's that, like there is a Lionel in that faction, and them connect, like, I don't know, figuring out a way to like connect that faction to our crimes rather than.
That seems more complicated, but we can get there when we get there.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so currently you're at wanted level what?
3.
Ooh, 3. That means whoever goes to prison for this is going to be in there a year or 2.
Yikes.
If you get to wanted level 4, it's life in prison or execution.
Great. Okay, so our next job, we have to frame somebody for our crimes.
Yeah.
Wow, it goes from 1 year to 2 to life. That's insane.
Yeah, it's wanted level 0 is a few weeks. Wanted level 1 is a month or 2. Wanted level 2 is several months. Wanted level 3 is a year or 2. Wanted level 4 is the highest, so I guess you have to go all the way up there, right?
I know, but just going from 1 to 2 years is just like crazy.
Yeah. All right. Entanglement.
So we solve our turf problem, or we get turf and take out the entire faction and get rid of our wanted level all in one fell swoop.
Yeah, I really think that going after the Deadeyes makes the most sense next, because if you defeat them and like can pin them for your crimes, right? You get rid of the faction you're at war against, you get turf, and you get the wanted level taken away. That seems like a good option.
Seems like a crazy option,
but
100%.
I mean... Yeah. Okay, so entanglements here. Would someone roll 3 dice for me on a fortune roll?
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, 5. Would someone roll just another fortune, just 1 dice?
I got this one. 3.
Okay. Gang trouble. One of your gangs... it's gang trouble or questioning. Let's read both of these. One of your gangs or other cohorts causes trouble due to their flaws. You can lose face, forfeiting rep equal to your tier +1, make an example of one of the gang members, or face reprisals from the wronged party. I don't think you have any of these right now. Like you hired one person for one job, but you don't actually have gangs or anything yet. So I think let's do questioning. The blue coats grab an NPC member, or the marshals, I guess, grab an NPC member of your crew or one of the crew's contacts to question them about your crimes. I think that makes the most sense.
Grab Eckerd?
I think they might grab Eckerd, right? Because he's the only one who actually knows something about this. So I think they grab Eckerd.
It's either Eckerd or the contact that I mentioned about Eckerd.
Yeah, let's go with Eckerd because that other guy's not important.
Yeah.
Eckerd gets taken in because someone notices the hand is missing, right? Before like his wife or something just like and we'll make a fortune roll. Let's see. Go ahead and someone else make another fortune roll with 3 dice.
I can make it.
Go for it. Oh, actually, one before you make it, you make the fortune roll to see how they talk, or you can pay the marshals off with 2 coin. Which one would you like to choose? You want to pay them off?
I kind of like the pay them off option. What do you guys think?
How much coin do we have left over after that?
8.
So technically, the only bad thing that can happen with the fortune roll is just more heat.
We can't take more heat right now. Let's pay him off.
Sounds
You
good.
agree, Alyssa?
How much are we gonna have to pay them
2 coin.
to get him not to talk?
Basically, yeah. Basically, the option is get more heat, like roll to decide how much heat you get. Though I definitely, if you get a 6, you don't get any heat. So there is the possibility of not getting any, or you pay them off with 2 coin. So basically, you know, Lionel comes in and puts some coin down and basically says, "You don't need to talk to him. Like, come with me, Eckerd."
I know that we've been enemies before, but let's,
Yeah.
Well, see,
let's squash this beef.
He'd probably just be like, "You owed me for that."
well, and like that's kind of the thought that I was having earlier. Like, you know, I bet there's a way that I can take him from enemy back down to rival if I like did that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'll take the 2 coin from the coin that I have on me.
Sounds good. Okie dokie. Yeah, it could have been much worse. So, all right. Now it's downtime to close us out.
Finally.
What would everyone like to do for their action? So, as a reminder, you got acquire asset, long-term project, recover, reduce heat, train, and indulge vice.
Recover.
Yep. Do you want to make that roll for her then, Lionel, to help her recover from her wounds?
I think I just need one more box, and then I'm...
One more box, and then you get rid of one of them, right?
Right. Which is what I need, because technically less effects.
That's
like
true.
Technically my one doesn't do anything, so I'll still work on those, but it's not going to be as
as
urgent.
pertinent.
Well, so all that my physician thing does, she Alyssa gets 1 extra die to her healing treatment.
I think it's you making the roll though. Yeah, the healer rolls. Tinker.
So I just roll Tinker?
Yep.
Roll an extra dice, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what the ability says
see.
then. Yeah.
So then I roll 3 dice.
Yes, you get a bonus die. So you roll Tinker and then get a bonus.
Control standard?
It doesn't matter.
I guess
This
it
is
doesn't
just
matter.
outside of it, yeah. Outside of the normal stuff.
1 bonus die.
Okay.
4 it is.
So 2 segments. So you get rid of one of these. So the thing is though, Lessa, you will only get rid of clipped, right? And the way it works is shot in the torso doesn't go down any, right? It's still up there. You have to, like, your ability makes any wound you have 1 less.
Wait, I'm confused. Why does it get rid of clipped?
So let's say if you did it on
like
shot,
my healing progress clock, I thought it got rid of the bigger one first.
No, so you're choosing which one it's getting rid of, and if you can't really choose shot in the torso because there's nowhere for it to go down. Because if you had succeeded on shot in the torso, it goes down 1 level, but there's no space for it to go down 1 level. So you have to get rid of the lower ones first. So basically the next one you'd want to do would be shot in the torso, and it's at 1 right now, right? And once you finish that one, it will still be there, but it will go down. And then you will, because of your toughest nails, it won't matter, but you'll still probably want to get it recovered at some point.
Okay, so basically, because how many things can we do in
2
downtime?
So you can technically do another recover if you want to.
I feel like I should probably indulge my vice though, because I've got 6 stress. So it'd be
you got 6 stress from 0?
Yeah. Yep. That's how much stress I took on this session.
It was all Paloma this time, right?
Yeah.
I feel
very
like
opposite of last time.
I mean, because then even if I roll a 6, right, then it's just cleared. There's no gonna be overindulging my vice.
True.
So I think I'm just gonna indulge my vice.
Sounds good. Go ahead and click that on your sheet there. So
5.
Nice. Yep.
Nice. There we go. I think that was worth it.
That was worth it. Yeah.
I did some good things. I Batmaned today.
It's true.
I am the knight.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was your vice. Yeah, you're like, they wanted me to cut off someone's hand. I just need to help the poor.
I just need to help the poor. I had to shoot some random goonie that is just like, I just don't care.
I feel so awful right now. Yeah. All right, who wants to go next?
Mine's going to be pretty simple, just indulging a vice.
All right, go for it.
No bonus dice.
Nope.
Oh.
Well, it's take the lowest, unfortunately, so it's a 2.
Why is it take the lowest?
Because you're always rolling your worst attribute, which for you is prowess.
Oh.
That's what it's having you roll. So
Well, I'm indulging
basically
my
you need to
vice
get a skill point in one of those skills to make that not
means
be
I need to
0
roll
dice.
6 desperate things under prowess.
Yep.
Well, I'll indulge my vice again.
Another 2.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Luckily, I'm not injured, so
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
not
need to do
injured, so
anything else
yeah.
anyway.
Sounds good. All right, Jordan, what about you? I assume you're going to want to indulge as well. You got a lot of stress, my boy.
I got his hand. I got his hand.
That's true. That's true.
I'm cutting it open. I indulge.
All right, go for it. You can roll it from your sheet there.
No bonus die, right?
Nope. Okay, you can get rid of
you go.
5. Would you like to indulge again, or you still have that graze in the leg that you've been working on?
Yeah, let's work on the grazed leg.
Sounds good.
Just in case. And
Very good. 5 is 2 segments. So not quite all the way done, but almost. All right, very good.
Things are looking up, my friends.
Indeed. Cool. I think that okay, yeah, so XP and stuff.
I do have a question about how
yeah.
trauma works now for me. Because the trauma was that I was obsessed.
You still have it. You never get rid of it. It'll be there forever.
Right. I just don't know how that works now.
You just got to find something else to be obsessed with, I guess. His family.
Creating a name. I am Lionel. Everyone shall know me as
it would just be, like you just redirect to some other obsession, right?
Okay.
Cool.
So really what it is, it's not an obsession, it's hyperfixation.
Sure. I don't think there weren't a whole lot of desperate rolls this time, and I think we've already marked those.
I had one.
I think we missed them. So, it would just be mark XP for drives and stuff, right? So, so for you, Lionel, did you address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem? Well, you at least did it once, so you gave Alyssa the bullet curvy thing. So you can mark a 1 XP on your playbook advancement there for that.
Okay.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I got the hand.
Yep, obsession for sure. Go ahead and mark another XP there. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma? Oh, actually, that would be that one. Because traumas would be the hand thing. Was there anything else about your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background that came into play?
Background with Eklund.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, you can mark 1 XP there too, because we brought him up and there's a whole thing there. Cool. All right, Alyssa. Let's look at Palomas. Did you address a challenge?
I addressed a challenge. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Very good.
I don't think I did any of the others though.
Beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Despite the fact that I mean,
you really only made 1 gunshot too, so
right, yeah. I was gonna say because
yeah, I think it's just the one.
Yeah, because I didn't even track. I just prowled a lot.
Yep.
So I can't say I did help with the survey, but I didn't make a roll.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
Mm-hmm. Seth, did you address a challenge with pharmaceuticals? Well, you at least give Alyssa some.
I gave Alyssa some. No, I didn't give him some. Okay. Dang, why do I keep blanking on Lionel's name? Did not give Lionel any. But yeah.
I don't think there's anything else for you.
Nope. Just gave Alyssa drugs.
That's kind of funny because it felt like Lionel didn't do a lot in that session, but for some reason it was still all about him, right? That's the whole reason you were doing this in the first place. So
It's just this is something that required being sneaky, and explosions aren't very sneaky.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit of time here. Do we want to just talk briefly about what the next thing is? Don't start anything or anything.
I mean,
just...
taking down the people.
The Dead Eyes is still the plan. So
the fact that we're still at war with them is
you're still at war with them. So is the idea that you want to frame them for your crimes, right? That's basically you want to be like they were doing all of this illegal drug dealing and stealing drugs and all that stuff the whole time. They were the ones who murdered whoever we murdered in the process of the last 4 sessions or 5 sessions. How do we go about doing that, right? Like that's the question.
Very carefully with good die rolls.
But like what avenue is, because like the easiest person to pin this stuff on would be the merchant that we mentioned earlier. Pinning this on the Dead Eyes would require some like fake paper trails or something, right?
Don't ask us questions we don't know the answer to, Caleb.
I don't know.
If that's what you want to do, you got to figure out some way to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
I don't know. At this point, Paloma might not mind going to prison for a year or 2.
Just peace out. Just do it a year time skip.
Wait, okay, so you said one of the things that we could do in our downtime is reduce heat.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, we don't have heat right now.
No, the problem is that it's a wanted
level.
I see,
the problem is that we let the heat get too high and it became a wanted level, and so yeah. Because we kept getting injured, and so we're like, oh, let's indulge our vices. Let's, heal ourselves instead of reduce our heat.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
I don't even remember why we're at war with the Dead Eyes or whoever they are.
Because I used to be one of the main guys in Apprentice.
A bad liaison set you up with a job to sell drugs with them on accident, not knowing that it was the gang that Alyssa had a whole thing with, and then you guys fought. It got even worse, and now they hate you forever.
Yep, I remember that now very clearly.
Because like the most easy option, if what you care about most is getting rid of your wanted level, which it seems like it is, it might be worth it just to go after the merchant instead.
Right.
Because that's the easiest path to get him thrown in prison for a year or 2, and you won't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, because maybe that's the angle, right? Maybe we go with the merchant first, get our wanted level down, get some more coin through that job, right? And then we can move up another tier, and then we might actually have a chance of taking on the Dead Eyes, because we're at a tier 1, but maybe if we get to a tier 2 first, maybe we could actually
you're at tier 0 right now, but
right. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, maybe if we can actually get a tier, maybe we can actually take them on.
Look, someone dies, someone cries. That's how this goes.
So I mean, setting up the merchant is a pretty easy job, all things considered. There's enough paper trail, at least for like some of the like you would have to extrapolate on what he's done, right? Because like you've done enough stuff at this point that isn't related to him that you would have to. But I think even you just have to make it careful that it seems obvious that he's
maybe here's the trail, right? Like for the other crimes, the merchant bribed what's his the guy that we just got killed,
Gideon. That's true.
Gideon, and he had to off Gideon. That's because true. Gideon was catching on to his trail.
Yep, that
right?
Makes sense.
I think it could make sense.
I think it actually does. The fact that Gideon was like involved from the very beginning with him makes all of this way easier. Yeah.
So I think that's the angle we take. Yeah.
So by framing him though, like I guess we're looking at like job types, trying to figure out what this actually is. Like what are you actually doing? Let's take a look here.
I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Deception, I think, right? Lure, trick, or manipulate.
Okay.
And the detail would be the method of deception is what you need to pull it off. So method being like, what do you actually, because this would be like giving information to the marshals, right? To frame him for this, and so he would just be taken down. The question is, how do you get that information? Is this just like Lionel writing up a giant treatise, right, with all of these receipts of all of this stuff that you guys have done, but just like making it look like the merchant dude, Absalom,
treatise, a manifesto,
and just like another anonymous tip, just like giving them a packet of info and letting them, but making it.
Man, this just should have been our job. We'll just give anonymous tips to the marshals.
Yeah. Because, like, if that's the job, I feel like we could just do that now, right? That seems like one role that either goes really well or really badly.
Right, because basically what's going to happen, right, is either the role is going to lead to it happening, or they
they're
catch
breaking
up,
down your door.
It comes down to us, right?
Yep.
So
why not? YOLO. What could possibly go wrong?
I know.
It's not like we haven't ended almost every session poorly already anyway.
Okay, so deception. Method of deception being an anonymous tip. Loadouts. Is this light again? In case something goes wrong?
Wait, are we actually starting another thing?
Yeah, we are.
Well, because we realized it's one roll. It's just one roll. It's like, it's Jordan writing up the anonymous tip, giving them a packet of info, and either they buy it or they don't.
Fair enough.
yeah, because I can't think of anything else that like we'd have to do, right? Like we're not using violence to do this. Like we're not.
It's just a lie. It's one single lie.
Could I take? I'll take a stress to give him some. Give an extra.
Well, yeah. So we so loadouts first. Like if because the thing, if the roll fails, right, then they're breaking down your door. Like that's what's happening, and they're gonna arrest you, right?
Lights, then lights.
Just lights.
I think light because like Paloma would try to like prowl away, kind of thing. I don't think
they're gonna come after us.
And if they come after me, I'm bringing the place down with me. No, probably light.
And this is the end of our Blades in the Dark campaign. Just everything exploding, everyone dying in an avalanche, in a cave-in. All right, so light for loadout, engagement roll, 1 die for sheer luck. Is the operation particularly bold or daring? Yes, 2 dice. Is the operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? No.
No.
Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? The thing is that is the target the marshals? Is the target the marshals or the target is Absalom.
It's the merchant.
The method is through the marshals.
Yeah.
Yes, he's vulnerable to this. 3 dice. Do you have any friends or contacts that can provide aid or insight on for this operation? It would have to be like a marshal related one, like a cop.
Well, yeah. What about the guy again who got us our place?
Oh, Hawksley?
Who got us our digs? Yeah,
he's like a railroad ranger, kind of peripheral.
Not a cop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are any enemies or rivals interfering in this operation? Is Absalom on anyone's contact list?
Oh,
No.
Absalom Payne.
Yeah.
I have it listed as a rival. Why?
No.
But he's not interfering with it.
He's the target.
He's the target.
Wait, who is this guy again? The merchant?
This is the merchant that you got double-crossed by.
Double-crossed us.
When you tried to sell the Kingdom of God drugs.
Oh, him. Okay, who?
He's the guy we originally tried to frame for our crimes,
Last
but then
session,
it didn't go
yeah.
well, and so we had to resort to violence.
Oh, sorry. For some reason, I was thinking about the guy I ran into in the bar. Wait, no. Who was... Wait, when I originally went to the bar...
We have Absalom, we have the Wolverine guy who you ended up assassinating. That was the guy you got drunk. And then there was Gideon that showed up at the bar.
No. Who was the guy I went to at the bar, like, at the hotel?
That was Absalom. So Gideon and Absalom met.
Okay, that was
And that's what
Absalom.
made everything go wrong to start with, because you're like, ooh. But yeah, I don't think if Gideon was still around, then he would obviously count.
Right.
But he's not.
Mhm.
So I think you're still at 3 dice. Are there any other elements that you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target gives you +1 die. Higher tier target gives you -1 die. I think it's not lower. Your tier 0. It can't be any lower. But I don't think the one merchant guy is high enough to like matter for this dice. So I think you're going in with 3 dice. That's pretty good.
I hope so.
So fortune roll, who'd ever like to make it with 3 dice.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll take them. I didn't do much this last time, which is fine. So at least you'll do something tonight. Notes. D flat.
Oh, no.
Seth, why did you go D flat?
Because it was, I don't know.
You say that like it actually matters.
Would be bad.
It does matter.
Poor
What?
Seth. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I played the wrong note on the keyboard.
Okay, how poorly does this go?
So you're starting in a desperate position, right? Which honestly seems par for the course, right? Desperate means things go really wrong if you fail. But it doesn't mean they automatically start, like, it isn't going to make your success harder to gain. It's just...
Right. Yeah. It's going to be even worse than what
if you fail.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the question is, lining up all of the dice to make sure you can pull this off. So, not Gideon, Lionel, you're making the roll, right? And this is well, actually, that is a question. What is the roll here? Because the thing that needs to happen, right? The intent of this is to frame Absalom. I think that might be a sway roll, primarily, right? Like Lionel's writing.
So would it be
up.
like?
Well, I thought the role was to make the documents convincing. Because I've done forgery stuff before, and
That's
one of the
true.
skills is specifically
tinker.
tied to forgery.
Yeah, it's tinker then that you're rolling, right? You're tinkering to forge documents.
Like fork, I say fork. Maybe Seth can give a bonus sway.
Yeah,
maybe, right?
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, like you're
to make it more
spending a stress.
like it's more convincing.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take a stress to give a bonus die.
Sounds good.
So, is the desperate standard, limited, great, extreme 0?
So it is going to be desperate, great.
Desperate, great.
I will also take a stress. Can I make an argument for like the same, like maybe like a prowl roll for me? Like
you're dropping the packet off.
Dropping it off, right? Kind of a thing.
Can I take 2 stress as well? Or because they can't help me, can I?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, actually, sorry. Only one person can help with the...
Oh.
Yeah, so
we've done that wrong.
Wait, then we've done that wrong.
Yes, yeah. So the way it works is you have 3 options, right? It's 4, I guess. One would be just like an advantage die that we think makes sense for the scene. So one person can help. You can you can push yourself, and you can take a devil's bargain. All of those 4 things can happen, but not multiple of those.
Okay.
It might actually be better for Alyssa to help them because she has less stress than me.
I'll take a stress.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So then I'll take 2 stress. Alyssa takes 1, and that gives us 2 bonus dice.
Mm-hmm.
Would I know what the devil's bargain is if...
Yeah.
It's an or.
So I can give you what the devil's bargain would be, and we can figure that out. Let's see.
Jordan, you can't do a devil's bargain and push yourself.
You can. Yeah. So what I was saying is
there's
4 possible ways that all can stack. One being just an advantage die for the situation. One being push yourself. Third being a help die, and then the last one being devil's bargain. Yes.
Are you sure? Because it says or, not and.
Oh, does it? Oh,
yeah. Push yourself or accept a devil's bargain.
That's
what it says on the character sheet.
Well, then wouldn't that mean that we could only get 1 bonus dice from any of those 4 things?
I don't think that's the way it works, right? So let me check real quick.
I was just asking because it says or.
Yep. It might be that to get a bonus dice, you can do one of these things, but it's not necessarily saying. Let's see.
It doesn't exclusively mean
add up to 2 bonus dice. Okay. Assistance from a teammate or push yourself or accept a devil's bargain. So the last 2 being.
So we can
it's correct.
you can only ever have 2 bonus dice?
I think you can have a third because I can just decide like the situation makes sense.
So does that
here.
mean that 2 people can help, but you can only do up to 2 dice? Is that
we can always say that someone's helping. It's just that.
No, I'm saying because it's saying you can get up to 2 bonus dice.
Yes, it's saying up to 2 bonus dice, and it's giving 2 categories. One being help from a teammate, and that's only right. And then the second
Not
being
teammates.
Devil's Bargain or pushing. So I think it's just one for both of those categories.
Then this is interesting. What would the Devil's Bargain potentially be then?
Yes, so Devil's Bargain in this case, I think. To try to frame this dude.
Might be better Devil's Bargain versus stress.
I mean, I just got rid of a bunch of stress, so even if I take 2, I still have 4.
I can't really think of a good Devil's Bargain here. Does anyone have an idea? I don't know.
No.
I'm struggling to come up with anything. It seems pretty straightforward to me. Where like it's either they know it was a fake tip or they don't. Like I guess you could you could be like Absalom finds out that you framed him, but if you succeed, it's not going to matter. So
right,
or
we could have it someone else.
Absalom finds out, and then he's going to be after us in a year when he gets out.
Right. Maybe.
We're gonna be dead by then.
I'll go and say that's the Devil's Bargain, right? The Devil's Bargain is going to be Absalom knows it was you guys, and maybe he has friends that will seek to punish you in another way, but it won't be as bad as the marshals.
I think it would just be better to take the stress.
Yeah,
sounds good.
I'll just take. Yeah, that's fine.
So I took 1, and then you're taking 2.
Yep. So that's 2 bonus die and 2 bonus dice and no third one for random whatever it makes sense reason.
Yeah.
Okay. How's it straight
Oh my god!
Straight 2s.
Well,
what
guys,
the actual heck? All right, well, that's a good place to end our session
Emily's
today.
back.
Emily's back next week, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, because
we need some distance from this.
We were doing so good. What the heck?
I know. I was expecting.
All right,
one of us did
just
it.
be like
the D flat did it.
Yeah. So,
well, guys,
is this just or just one of us get arrested right now and we just call it a campaign? Just say, all right, great job, guys.
Well, you don't have to call it a campaign. Like, there's a whole big thing that happens when you get arrested, right?
But is it worth it?
I mean, one of us is gonna get arrested next session. Like that's just what's gonna happen. I just know. Like,
unless you. So the thing that will happen, right, is that wanted level 3 worth of goons will come try to arrest you, and you guys can try to kill them, right?
Yeah, because that's gonna help our
right. Then we're gonna get to level 4.
So let's check this real quick before we end here, just to make
and
sure.
now they know that we tried to frame this guy, so framing somebody else for our crimes is really not gonna go well.
Right.
I say we just take the L. One of us goes. Paloma will sacrifice herself.
I'm fine with like Lionel going.
I'm fine with Paloma going.
I think it makes sense that Paloma would go because she's the one who dropped off the packet, right? Paloma goes to drop off the anonymous tip packet. She gets caught in the act and just goes away for a long time. Does that make sense to you guys?
I'm fine with that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Man, that's a bummer.
That was a bummer, but you know what? It's
your wanted level goes away though.
Hey, there you go.
What's hilarious about this is that Paloma is definitely the least bad of the 3 of you.
I was fine going away too. I was fine with Clancy going.
So I think right, the cracked lanterns gets their wanted level down to 0 again. Paloma goes away for a year. We can make the incarceration roll and stuff like that to do what happened with Paloma. Does she get some turf in the prison? Like that's a whole thing that can happen there.
Follow me.
Yeah. And if we return, we can.
And our one.
If we return, can we just make new characters and be vigilantes together?
I'm also totally fine with that. Like, if you guys are like, we've reached the end of this group's possibilities, that's totally fine too.
Playing a character who likes to cut people as a one-off was a fun idea.
Yeah.
Having to come back to this character
multiple times. Hey, I'm totally fine. If this is the end, we can totally just call this as the end of the campaign of Blades in the Dark. It seems like there's been enough like really bad stuff that's happened to like just make it a bummer to play these characters.
I feel like it's like at this point, like Clancy just looks at Lionel and goes, "We're kind of incompetent, aren't we?"
Because you could just like split the group up, right? And just be like, okay, we're letting Paloma rot in the prison and I'm going back to the kingdom of God or whatever, right? Like,
you know what? I'm going to actually deliver news first.
Right. Just go be a newsy. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Because your wanted level's gone,
worth it.
right? And so you can just like disband the group and be like, this is it. We're not going to be able. You have a bunch of coin. Actually, that's a good point. There's like a whole like retiring thing, out? Right? Let me find this real quick.
Can Paloma use any coin to lower her sentence at all? Bribes with the guards.
Right. Well, there's a whole thing there.
Yeah, I want to know what happens to Paloma. Does she become this weird mob boss in the prisons?
It has to do with the tier. So go ahead and roll 0 dice fortune roll for me.
For me?
Yep.
Okay. Number dice 0, 3.
Okay. 3. It's horrific. You suffer a level of trauma from the experience.
Oh no. Okay.
This seems like the end of a game of Fiasco.
Trauma?
Yes, it does.
I think
Fiasco has more laughter, though.
Yep.
I think I'm reckless. Why not? I'm just reckless. I'm just like, whatever. I just don't care anymore.
Okay, so let me find the like retirement stuff because I think we probably just go to that, right? Like it's like, how much coin do you guys have? Like how good can your retirement be? And we just start wrapping that up. Let's see here. Dying.
That was funny. He's just like dying.
Well, because that's when it comes up as like, where is this? Is it in consequences and harm? Oh, there you go. 33. Has to do with trauma. Vices, probably vices and traumas. Sorry, this book is kind of confusing sometimes. 156. Let's try that.
While he's figuring that out, just a reminder to anybody who's watching to go to patreon.com/CalebMPowers in case you enjoy watching us suffer. Or if you want to watch some quality content, wait for Emily to come back.
I thought you were just going to say don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Also that.
Where is this section?
But if you're doing drugs, you're probably a little too busy to watch this stream, so.
Or maybe you're doing drugs and watching the stream at the same time. That'd be a thing.
Hey, maybe this will be a step towards sobriety.
Man, I'm really not finding where this is. Let me just Control F on this real quick and see if I can find it on the PDF version. Because basically the idea, right, is like you have to have a certain amount of coin, and that will determine when your character retires, how well it goes. Blades the Dark Blades. Here we go. Let's just type in retirement.
I'm gonna grab something.
Sounds good. Here we go. Page 43. Oh, it's in the fortune. Oh, no. That 43. Oh, here we go. Stash and retirement. When you mark your character's final trauma and they retire, that's usually when it happens. But the amount of coin they've managed to...
Our characters weren't traumatized. We were.
Yeah. The players have marked their final trauma. The amount of coin they've managed to stash away determines their fate. Your stash tracker is on your character sheet. Stash is below.
Oh, it's a whole nother thing.
So how much coin does everybody have in total by the end of this?
I have just one.
You have like one, and then...
But we didn't split the party gold.
Right. Paloma, what did you... You
I
have
have
2, and then there's 4 in the vault. So that's 7 altogether?
We had 10. We paid 1. I lost 2.
Yeah, so there's 7.
It should be 7.
I mean, even if one person gets all of it, it's still not enough to get anything but the lowest tier. So you end up in the gutter, awash in vice and misery is the...
That sounds about right. These characters deserve it,
end
honestly.
stage from all of this. Yep. So I think, right, like the kind of end state here is, Seth goes to, or Clancy goes and tries to sell newspapers, but just can't break out of his drug habit, right? And just ends up a hobo on the street, a drug addict. Alyssa's character, right? Paloma gets out of prison, gets reckless. You probably want to do more owl stuff, right?
Right.
And you probably just die doing that, right? You just get too reckless and just get killed in the line of fire trying to protect the poor because of your trauma. And then what about you, Lionel?
The gang actually traces it back to the right Lionel.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, of course. And they just...
And then Lionel goes out on his own terms. He sees it coming a mile away. One glorious explosion.
Yeah. Amazing. Love it. Cool. Yeah. That I think the thing with this campaign, right, is it wasn't meant to be a campaign originally. It was just a fun one shot that went really well, and then just for some reason just went downhill really fast.
It was a one shot that was meant to stay a one shot.
Hey, I still enjoyed myself tremendously.
I still enjoyed it. I mean, the terrible times, where it's funny, honestly, at this point.
Yeah. I think part of it too is that there's only 3 characters in the crew, and if you had like a couple, 1 or 2 other crew members, there's more like blame to, or harm and stuff to go around, multiple characters and a little bit more skills, broadness. So doing this, I think it would be really fun to do this again with Emily at some point. Do like a shorter campaign and have like a whole thing where it maybe be vigilantes or something besides drug dealers, right? But the game itself is really fun in terms of like the phases and the way it goes. And you guys really got
maybe in between campaign 2 and campaign 3.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say
like 3 years.
In between campaign 2 and 3, we probably should take a break from Dungeons and Dragons, and I would love to do a sort of longer thing of something else, because we played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons over the years with each other, so it might be fun to do something else. Cool. I think that is probably it.
We do 3.5 feet. No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
We do Pathfinder.
Yeah, right. We might do something like that. But
I know.
What I mean by is something even besides that, right? It's all the same mega system, D20 based
Rocket League
adventuring. Is there a role playing game for that?
Probably.
No, we just play Rocket. League. I'm just kidding. I've literally never played Rocket League in my life.
Oh, no. I suck at it, but I have played. Okie dokie. I think that is the end of Blades in the Dark. And we'll probably, it seems like M is the one who's not free the most consistently. So if we have another couple of times for that, we might want to pick out some other mini campaign to try to do. Because those are always, I like doing something that's like meant to be shorter, but is still longer than a one shot, right? So there's plenty of fun games we can play to do that. But we'll figure that out next time. Next week, we're going back to Terra Invicta and finishing out season 4. Season 4, yeah.
3. No, 4.
Season 4,
oh.
yeah. Season 4 of
What?
Terra Invicta, yep.
Why does it feel like it's not been that long?
Well, the
They don't play
seasons have been
consistently.
shorter
Yeah.
than Terra Nullius. Terra Nullius is exactly 12 episodes.
12 episodes.
Every time. This one says it's been more like 10 episodes every time. So, yeah. Still season worthy, but a little bit shorter. Okay, dokie.
We let Netflix buy us out, so now we're only 10 episodes.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, dokie. Well, thanks for playing with me anyway, guys. I it went pretty well until it really didn't. But it's probably better that we ended it now as opposed to starting off a session with that bad of a roll and just it was gonna end this way no matter what if you failed that roll. So, yep. It is what it is. Crime doesn't pay, guys. That is the lesson we've learned from this little mini campaign. Yeah. Thanks, Plan. Thanks for watching.
Except for tax fraud. No, I'm kidding.
We
My gosh.
are out. Adios.